Chapter 1545. Yes. One of the guards replied, and apprehended eldest young Master Hang and eldest Miss Sunday. Yuan couldn't help but marvel at Patriarch Shin's modus operandi. The Shin family's current status absolutely didn't depend on chance and luck. A person could see Patriarch Shin's abilities from this matter alone. He didn't allow the attendees of the Shun banquet, Miss Sun and Mr. Hang, to become injured or die, nor did he disrespect the president of the Fearless Alliance. He resolved the awkward position the Shun family was in as the host with a few words. Come, President Bai. I didn't recognize you earlier, but let's have a good talk. Patriarch Shin beamed at Yuan and clapped her shoulders before leading her toward the VIP seats. Patriarch Shin personally poured a cup of tea for Yuan and handed it to her. President Bai, have some tea. Thank you, Uncle Shun. Yuan smiled and accepted the tea. Dad, I also want a cup. Eldest young Master Shun sprinted toward them. Patriarch Shin glanced at his foolish son. Get lost. I won't. I want to drink tea. Eldest young Master Shun plopped himself down next to Yuan. Patriarch Shin looked at Yuan with an embarrassed expression. President Bai, please excuse my son. He was pampered and spoiled since childhood, Patriarch Shin said. Yuan shook her head. Tianshin is fine. Underneath the VIP seats, Nie Linglong's eyes kept darting over to Yuan, a cold glint sparkling in her eyes. This woman who shouldn't have appeared must disappear. Nearby, nameless Nie sent a look to Ji Shiran, who was conversing with a few leaders from other factions. Excuse me, everyone. I'll have to leave momentarily, Ji Shiran quietly said with a smile. Emperor Ji is being too courteous. Do what you need to do, an elderly man said. After Ji Shiran left, the leaders all couldn't help but marvel at how accomplished Ji Shiran was despite his young age. Moreover, he didn't put on any airs and made people feel like a spring breeze was washing over them. Brother Nya, what is it? Ji Shiran asked in confusion when he reached Nameless Nye's side. Are you very familiar with Lord Azura? Nameless Nye looked very inquisitive. Ji Shiran quietly said, There's no harm in speaking frankly, Brother Nye. Take me over there. I have something to ask Lord Azura, Nameless Nye replied. Sure. Ji Shiran didn't say anything more and led Nameless Nye to Lord Azura, who was drinking tea on the side. Hey! Nameless Nye approached Lord Azura. Before he could take more than a few steps, he was blocked by Jiang Yin. Who are you? Jiang Yin coldly looked at him. You're blocking me? Nameless Nye stared at Jiang Yin. If I allowed myself to be blocked by you just like that, I would be shaming myself. Nameless Nye lifted his right arm and instantly sent Jiang Yin dozens of steps back. After Jiang Yin steadied himself, disbelief and surprise surfaced in his eyes. Who's this man in front of me? How could he be so strong that I can't see through him anymore? Could he be the rumored strongest person in the independent state? Piece of shit. At this time, Lord Azura's icy gaze landed on Nameless Nye, surprise entering his eyes when he saw Nameless Nye's face clearly. He imperceptibly turned his head. Chapter 1546. 1546. You. Nameless Nye walked to Lord Azura's side and asked, Have we met before? Lord Azura was forced to face Nameless Nye directly and aloofly said, You have the wrong person, sir. Your words are a little strange. I haven't even named who you are yet, but you're saying I have the wrong person. Nameless Nye stared at Lord Azura with a furrow of his brows. He rubbed his chin as he pondered over it. This man is seriously too familiar looking. Where in the world have I seen him before? When I went out on missions? No, I don't think I've ever seen him in the independent state either. Then what about China? Ah, I remember. Nameless Nye slapped his thigh. You're the owner of that food stall in China. Si Yihan. Jiang Yin was baffled. Owner of a food stall? What? When did my master open a food stall and become its owner? You do have the wrong person, sir, Si Yin said. Right. I got it wrong. You aren't the owner of that food stall in China. I remember that owner is round and fat, and he wasn't as handsome as you. As Nameless Nye said this, he kept examining Si Yihan. After examining Si Yihan for almost 10 minutes, Nameless Nye's eyes flashed. Damn, I remember now. You're Yi Wanwan's boyfriend. Back then, you even pretended to be Tong Tong's father. You're the patriarch of the Si family, Si Yihan. Am I right? Nearby, Ji Xiran's signature smile instantly disappeared without a trace. There was thunder and lightning and a raging storm in his eyes as he slowly looked at Si Yihan, the patriarch of the Si family in China, the man who erased all of worryless Nie's memories and completely turned worryless Nie into Yi Wanwan. Damn, what the hell are you doing? How could you just abandon your girlfriend in China? Yi Wanwan was so anxious that she came running to the independent state by herself to find you. I also heard she swam here. Nameless, Nie urgently questioned while staring at Si Yihan. Yi Wanwan, Si Yihan, you must have the wrong person, sir. I don't know these people you speak of, Si Yihan said aloofly. Wrong person? Nameless Nie looked uncertain. That also made sense. This man was Lord Azura in the independent state, and the Si family of China probably wasn't a match for even a toe of Lord Azura. So, why would he run to China to be some patriarch? All right, perhaps I do have the wrong person, but your face is seriously similar. Nameless Nie shook his head and walked to Jiang Yan. Bro, sorry, I recognized the wrong person. Here's some money to nurture your health. It's also my apology to you. Then he forcefully stuffed $100 into Jiang Yan's hand. You freaking! Where did this madman come from? As Ji Xiran watched Nameless Nie leave abandonedly, his signature smile returned to his face. When a silver-haired, elderly man saw that smile appearing on Ji Xiran's face, which was as exquisite as a carved statue, shock entered his eyes. Was Emperor Ji about to get serious with someone? Other people might not know the meaning behind Emperor Ji's smile every time he smiled like that, but people like them who followed Emperor Ji knew it better than anyone. This was a warning for extreme danger. The final calm before the storm. Chapter 1547. Ji Xiran sat face to face with Si Yihan with a chessboard in between them. How's the tea? Lord Azura. Ji Xiran asked him with a light chuckle. It's good, Si Yihan replied aloofly. Ji Xiran pushed the tea aside and used his right hand to pick up a chess piece from the chessboard in front of him. Lord Azura, our game hasn't finished yet. Ji Xiran's right hand gently placed the chess piece down. Si Yihan didn't say anything and started playing with Ji Xiran. Other people have mentioned that Lord Azura is extremely learned, so I have a matter to ask Lord Azura, Ji Xiran said. Si Yihan glanced at him. With your knowledge, you shouldn't need to ask other people anything, Emperor Ji. Ji Xiran didn't respond outright and started saying, if a person's memories are completely erased and replaced by someone else's memories, then is that person considered to have died since she's living with another person's memories and living for other people? Si Yihan's expressionless gaze landed on Ji Xiran. This type of living where you linger in this world without your dignity, dead but not truly dead. You don't know your name, and everything that originally belonged to you is turned into smoke and mirrors. You have no choice but to accept everything that belongs to someone else. It sounds rather cruel, no? But what if this cruelty was bestowed upon her by her most intimate, trusted lover? Isn't that crueler? Ji Xiran's smile deepened as he looked at Si Yihan. Emperor Ji, your philosophy is growing more superb. However, whether it's cruel or not, it's someone else's business. Minding your own business is more important than anything, Si Yihan said indifferently. Then he raised his chess piece and captured one of Ji Xiran's chess pieces. I've always heard that Lord Azura is rather talented in martial arts. I've wanted to exchange notes with you for a long time. There's no time like the present. So how about we have a go? Ji Xiran smiled detachedly. A second later, Ji Xiran lifted his right fist and slowly placed it on the chessboard. At the same time, a loud bang rang out and the chess piece, made from unknown materials, instantly shattered into pieces. Everyone in the banquet grew silent and looked at Si Yihan and Ji Xiran. What's going on? Isn't that Emperor Ji and Lord Azura? Big Dipper was astonished. Damn, did those two get angry from playing chess? Seven Star glanced at Big Dipper. Do you think you can get angry from playing chess? Isn't that nonsense? Big Dipper looked at 7 Star. It's the same logic as playing Fight the Landlord. You can beat me once, you can beat me twice, but if you freaking beat me 8 or 10 times in a row and won't let me win even once, see if I'd beat you to death. If I don't beat you to death, I'm gonna fatally smack my head against the ground, and you won't need to bury me. 7 Star, damn. Look, everyone. Emperor G and Lord Azura got angry from playing chess. Their shame turned into anger, and they're going to fight. Big Dipper excitedly shouted at the top of his lungs. Everyone spread around the Shun residence flooded toward them. In the independent state, it was normally harder than ascending the heavens to see Lord Azura and Emperor G's faces, let alone seeing them fight. They'd all heard that Emperor G and Lord Azura were extremely strong martially, but no one had witnessed them before. So who wouldn't want to see them in action considering this opportunity today? Yi Wanwan reflexively turned to Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran, bewildered. These two. Chapter 1548. Yi Wanwan stopped drinking tea with Patriarch Shin and instantly turned to look at Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran when she heard Big Dipper. These two people are actually playing a game of chess? They're going to fight because they got hot-tempered from playing chess. Yi Wanwan shook her head in disbelief. If it was Big Dipper who got hot-tempered from playing chess, she wouldn't find it strange. But if it was someone at Ji Xiuran and Lord Azura's level, it absolutely wasn't possible. These two people looked fine playing a game of chess and looked as close as brothers a second ago. So why did they start fighting a second later? Jiang Yin immediately stepped forward and placed himself in front of Si Yihan as he coldly stared at Ji Xiuran. Before Jiang Yin could do anything, Skeleton walked out from the crowd and came face to face with Jiang Yin. Skeleton, retreat, Ji Xiuran lightly called as he looked at Skeleton. Skeleton furrowed his brows and wanted to say something, but swallowed his words, retreating as Ji Xiuran ordered. Jiang Yin, Lord Azura called aloofly. My lord, Jiang Yin urgently said, your injuries, they've recovered already, Lord Azura replied. But Jiang Yin wanted to say something else, but Lord Azura interrupted him. Retreat. Jiang Yin gritted his teeth, but naturally didn't dare to disobey an order from Lord Azura, so he helplessly retreated. Ji Xiuran instantly took action and appeared in front of Si Yihan with a single step. He lifted his right arm, and his palm dropped. The motion of his palm was like ripples in water, and the wind from his strike arrived before his palm. In a fraction of a second, Lord Azura also struck with his palm, unperturbed. Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran's palms clashed like two meteorites that deviated from their orbits. A second later, a resounding bang sent everyone's eardrums vibrating. Ji Xiuran's figure was graceful, like an immortal, while Lord Azura looked like he was taking a stroll in the snow. Every hit and strike caused the viewers' hearts to beat with fear. Yi Wanwan was utterly dumbstruck by the sight of Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran actually fighting. This match was absolutely unexpected. Logically speaking, she shouldn't act unconcerned. Next to her, Patriarch Shin's brows locked together as he watched Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran. Despite being the host, he didn't do anything as though he didn't plan to interfere. Every guest was shocked. For people at Lord Azura and Emperor Ji's level, they reasonably shouldn't start fighting at this kind of setting no matter what deep animosities they had. Not a single person who advanced to their status was rash or imprudent, and there was no way they couldn't differentiate what was important. Even if they were really going to fight, they should have waited until the Shun family's banquet ended. Strange. When the world happened. Why did Emperor Ji and Lord Azura start fighting at the Shun family's banquet? A guest asked in shock. I think Big Dipper from Fearless Alliance said that. Emperor Ji and Lord Azura got hot-tempered from playing chess, so they started fighting. Got hot-tempered from a game of chess? Many guests were dumbstruck. Was this an astronomical joke? Who were Emperor Ji and Lord Azura? How could they have gotten hot-tempered from a chess match and started fighting? Only an idiot would say something like that. When 7 Star heard everyone's discussion, he silently retreated back and distanced himself from Big Dipper. Chapter 1549. 1549. Yi Wanwan looked bewildered as she sat in the VIP seats. With the current situation, should I go help Ji Shiran? She was Ji Shiran's fiancée in name. It might be unrelated to her and Bro Flat Top's business, whether it was an underground or public relationship. But wasn't she currently acting as Bro Flat Top? If she didn't help Ji Shiran, it would be hard to justify. However, in a match between top experts like Ji Shiran and Lord Azura, she'd probably do more harm than good if she approached them. It also didn't seem too realistic for her to pull them apart. It'd be best if she did nothing. Nie Linglong expressionlessly swept her eyes across the venue. This development at the Shin family's banquet this time was rather unexpected. Emperor Ji actually started fighting with Lord Azura, Linglong. If you want to gain dominance over the independent state, Yuanwan must die. Worryless Nie, who was standing in front of Nie Linglong, said quietly. Nie Linglong glanced at Worryless Nie. Do you think that piece of trash can stop me? Worryless Nie turned pensive. Worryless Nie was fully aware of Nie Linglong's ambitions. She wanted to dominate the entire independent state and stomp everything beneath her feet. I suddenly think Worryless Nie is living very pitifully after she lost her memories. She's living in this world like a clown, and when we're bored, we can come and watch this clown's clumsy performance. Isn't that delightful? Nie Linglong chuckled softly. Say, isn't it more interesting to watch her live as someone else without any memories than to let her die? Linglong, didn't you want to kill her? Asked Worryless Nie. Nie Linglong smiled frostily. Is Worryless Nie worthy of attracting my attention? Or is she worthy of making me attack? She added, even if she regained her memories, Worryless Nie, in my eyes, is nothing. Huh? Of course. Who does Worryless Nie think she is? She doesn't deserve even a glance from you, Linglong, Worryless Nie said with a snort. Neither the Nie family nor the independent state knew how terrifying the current Nie Linglong was, but she knew it clearly. Nie Linglong might deem Yuanwan beneath her, but Worryless Nie wanted Yuanwan to die without a burial place. She was Worryless Nie now. Worryless Nie's everything belonged to her, including Ji Shiran. Yuanwan was unworthy of gaining Ji Shiran's favor and intimacy. More than that, she was unworthy of taking a single step inside the Nie residence. Worryless Nie, lips turned up with an icy smile as she stared at Yuanwan in the VIP seats. Does she really think she's President Fearless? Allowing her to jump around 2 more days wasn't a big deal. After the banquet ended, she would personally send people to the Fearless Alliance to expose Yuanwan's identity. At that time, she wouldn't need to do anything and could watch Yuanwan die miserably. Before Worryless Nie could get any further in her thoughts, waves of explosions were heard in front of her. Emperor Ji and Lord Azura's fight didn't cease at all and continued without a hitch. Chapter 1550. 1550. I've previously heard of Lord Azura's extraordinary talent. From the looks of it, it's truly not just hearsay, Ji Shiran said with an aloof smile aimed at Lord Azura. You're good yourself, Lord Azura icily replied as he expressionlessly glanced at Ji Shiran. Yuanwan frowned deeply when she saw unyielding atmosphere and caught sight of Nameless Nie, who was watching them while eating imaginary popcorn. Yuanwan immediately left the VIP seats and walked to Nameless Nie. Stop eating, Yuanwan said to Nameless Nie. Nameless Nie looked bewildered. What? Go help them, Yuanwan instructed. Help them? Nameless Nie was startled. What did Yuanwan mean? He asked reflexively. Help who? What do you mean, help who? I'm talking about pulling them apart, Yuanwan explained. Nameless Nie shook his head. The 2 big bosses are fighting, so why would a small boss like me join in? Moreover, what's it got to do with me? You really won't go? Yuanwan stared at Nameless Nie. I won't. Whoever goes is a bastard, Nameless Nie proclaimed. Yuanwan sighed helplessly and took out a stack of bills from her purse. Then it looks like this money doesn't have any fate with you. What a pity, truly a pity. Nameless Nie looked at the stack of $100 bills in Yuanwan's hand and snatched it. He furrowed his brows. My good sister, what nonsense are you spewing? You and I are sworn brothers who go through thick and thin together, and won't abandon each other even in death. Considering our relationship, I'm just a word away if you need anything. After saying that, Nameless Nye stuffed the stack of bills into his pocket. This was Nameless Nye indeed. All right, my good sister. Tell me how I should pull them apart? Nameless Nye chuckled ingratiatingly. Make them stop fighting. Yuanwan was exasperated. All right, I'll try. Nameless Nye nodded and sprinted toward Ji Shiran and Lord Azura. Ji Shiran and Lord Azura were still fighting, and the match was growing more intense. Shiran! Nameless Nye suddenly embraced Ji Shiran from behind. Ji Shiran's brows furrowed. He couldn't comprehend Nameless Nye's actions. Quick, 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 follow me. Uncle Ji had an accident just now and was hit by a car. He's in the hospital and couldn't contact you, so he called me just now. Hurry and follow me to the hospital to take a look. The driver who hit Uncle Ji pulled a hit and run. Nameless Nye looked extremely anxious, and not a single flaw could be spotted. He acted like Ji Shiran's father really was hit by a car. Ji Shiran was instantly taken back. Upon seeing Ji Shiran embraced from behind by Nameless Nye, Lord Azura didn't take advantage of the moment or continue attacking. Instead, he stood some distance away with his arms behind his back. We'll exchange pointers another day. Ji Shiran said to Lord Azura before swiftly following Nameless Nye out of the venue. Yuanwan was dumbfounded. She had Nameless Nye pull them apart, but absolutely didn't expect him to pull them apart like this. Nameless Nye was seriously the first person to break up a fight like this. He was probably the only one who would think of this method. When Lord Azura saw that Ji Shiran stopped bothering him and left the Shun residence, a bewitchingly cold glint surfaced in his eyes, and he expressionlessly turned around to return to his seat and drink a cup of green tea. Chapter 1551. Ji Shiran's followers were all baffled. Patriarch Ji was hit by a car? Why was it Nameless Nye instead of them who received the news? They found it odd, but no one dared to say anything. What if Patriarch Ji really got hit? Yuanwan finally relaxed when she saw Ji Shiran and Lord Azura's conflict subsiding. If she allowed them to keep fighting, who knew when they'd stop? Moreover, Ji Shiran and Lord Azura's match didn't only concern them. It also concerned the powers under Emperor Ji and Lord Azura. If these two factions started fighting, the consequences were inconceivable. Yuanwan walked to Lord Azura and sat across from him, silent as she intently stared at this incredibly familiar face. It was nearly 10 minutes before the man finally looked at her and asked coldly, "Have you seen enough yet, President Bai?" Yuanwan beamed. Lord Azura is so good-looking. How could I ever see enough? Yuanwan didn't wait for Lord Azura to respond before continuing. I'm very curious about why Lord Azura started fighting with Emperor Ji. Could it be what Big Dipper said? Lord Azura and Emperor Ji became hot-tempered from playing chess? Lord Azura was silent for a moment before replying. President Bai can interpret it like that. She didn't realize Lord Azura was rather talented at spinning tales. Esteemed Lord Azura, I have something to show you, Yuanwan said with a light chuckle as her eyes shifted. What is it? Lord Azura asked indifferently. I didn't bring the object. It's at my house. May I ask if Lord Azura has the time to follow me home and take a look? Yuanwan asked. At that time, she would bring Great White back to the unlucky house. As long as Lord Azura came, she didn't believe she wouldn't be able to feel him out. We'll talk when I have time. Lord Azura languidly stood up and left with Jiang Yin and his other followers. Great, it's a date then, esteemed Lord Azura. You can't go back on your word, all right? Yuanwan's lips turned with an ineffable smile. If Lord Azura really was Si Yihan, there was no way Great White wouldn't recognize him. A wild beast like Great White didn't only recognize people by sight, but also by scent. Lord Azura definitely didn't expect Great White to be at the Fearless Alliance right now. Considering Lord Azura's identity, it wouldn't be suitable to have him personally visit the Fearless Alliance, but it wouldn't be any problem if he visited the unlucky house. Not long after Lord Azura left, Ji Shiran returned and inspected the surroundings. Ji Shiran walked toward Yuanwan. Shiran, how's Uncle? She asked. He's fine, Ji Shiran answered. What about? Brother Nameless? Yuanwan probed. He fled, Ji Shiran replied honestly. Yuan. Ji Shiran looked at her. Where's Lord Azura? I don't know. Probably left. From now on, you aren't permitted to go near Lord Azura. Ji Shiran's tone was more forceful than ever before and didn't allow her any room to question or disagree with him. Why? Yuan was very curious. She wanted to know what caused Ji Shiran to shed all pretenses with Lord Azura in this kind of setting and even start fighting with him. You want to know? Ji Shiran's cosmos-like eyes stared at her. I do, she nodded. Of course I want to know. Chapter 1552. 1552, why didn't he permit her to go near Lord Azura? Yuan was pondering over that when she heard Ji Shiran speak. Because you're my fiancé. She didn't expect this response from Ji Shiran and started choking. Emperor Ji can't be jealous, right? Lately, Ji Shiran retained his graceful and aloof attitude no matter what, so she really couldn't associate him with something like jealousy. Moreover, Bai Feng wasn't his fiancé. She was just his secret lover. Wasn't his fiancé worryless Nya? Yuan didn't thoroughly understand Bai Feng and Ji Shiran's situation, though, so she had no choice but to laugh wryly and refrain from speaking carelessly. At this time, worryless Niao suddenly started walking toward them, and Yuan hastily took the opportunity to leave. Well, I still have something to do, so I'll be leaving now. Then she immediately dragged the unwilling Big Dipper, whose mouth was dripping with grease, and 7 Star out of the Shun residence. In the distance, she could see worryless Nyep daintily standing in front of Ji Shiran and saying something to him. Yuan saw that 7 Star looked relieved in the car and turned to him with raised brows. Why do you look like you've been relieved of a heavy burden? Big Dipper kept eating the pastry he took with him as he said, Do you need to ask? Emperor Ji and Lord Azura actually appeared at the same time tonight, but you managed to hold back from throwing yourself at the lure of 2 beauties, Sis Feng. It's simply too surprising. Do you need to be so surprised? 7 Star hesitatingly said, Sis Feng, these 2 aren't people the Fearless Alliance can provoke. Last time, Sis Feng, it was too dangerous how you gave flowers to Emperor Ji and snuck into Azura's place in the middle of the night. Thankfully, you returned safely and Emperor Ji didn't give you trouble afterward, but you won't be so lucky every single time. Seeing that 7 Star was nagging her again, Yuan helplessly waved her hand. I know. I was just bored last time and casually having fun. Don't be so nervous. Look at you, you're only in your teens, but I would think you're 70 or 80 if I didn't know any better. 7 Star. She did something so dangerous because she was bored? She can casually have fun about something like this? 7 Star frowned deeply. Sis Feng, stop. I promise. I won't wreak havoc again. You can return your heart to your chest. 7 Star intently examined her vehement attitude for a moment before believing her. Yuan relaxed when 7 Star stopped nagging. Won't wreak havoc? Impossible. My plan finally progressed to this stage after great difficulty. She didn't know why Emperor Ji started fighting today, but a certain person, oh right. Big Dipper, 7 Star, help me transport Little White and Little Black to my place. Yuan instructed while rubbing her chin. Knowing that Sis Feng really liked those 2, Big Dipper and 7 Star didn't think too much about it and nodded in agreement. Yuan returned to her unlucky house. Soon, Big Dipper and 7 Star sent Virus and Slaughter over. Perhaps 7 Star detected something, since he stared anxiously at Yuan. Sis Feng, you really won't do anything? Yuan nodded frantically. I won't. 7 Star was going to say something else, but Yuan's eyes shifted, and she immediately suggested, If you 2 are worried, do you want to stay here with me tonight? Chapter 1553. As soon as Big Dipper heard that, he stared at the eerie haunted house behind Yuan. He shuddered, and his hair stood on its end. No need, Sis Feng. We believe you. Absolutely believe you. Bye. Good night. Then he immediately dragged 7 Star with him and ran off into the distance. Who will want to live in this damn place? Yuan nodded with satisfaction at successfully scaring those 2 away. It appeared this unlucky house that was on the brink of sending her into a nervous breakdown from fright was a tad useful. Yi Wanwan was about to enter when she saw a flash of lightning in the distant sky. It turned dark and cloudy in the evening, so a rainstorm was probably coming tonight. Although Yi Wanwan had become more accustomed to it, this bloody place's fear factor when it was gloomy and raining could give her a heart attack from terror. Thankfully, she brought Great White and Little Black back today, and they could keep her company. To prevent Big Dipper and Seven Star from nagging her nonstop, Yi Wanwan didn't have them run errands for her and sent Lu Ying to help her send a letter to Lord Azura instead. Yi Wanwan sat on the sofa and petted Great White's large, furry head with a smile on her lips. She had Great White prepared and just needed favorable circumstances to arrive. While petting Great White, another large, furry, and black head butted into her hand, and the owner of the head growled as he shoved Great White away. Yi Wanwan quickly scratched the jealous virus. All right, be good, Little Black. Pet, pet, pet. I'll also pet you. You're the most well-behaved. At the same time at Azura's manor, Jiang Yin apprehensively handed a letter to Lord Azura. He couldn't bear to look at this letter. The letter was tied to a brilliant and beautiful red rose. The scent of perfume emanated from the letter, and pink hearts were printed on the envelope. The bearer of the letter said it's a letter from the president of the Fearless Alliance, by phone, asking to meet with you tonight, Jiang Yin explained with his head downcast, as he recalled the scene featuring Lord Azura and by phone that he stumbled upon last time. Embarrassment, as well as fury, filled his heart. How could the Fearless Alliance humiliate his lord like that? After his lord's goo was treated, Azura absolutely wouldn't spare them. However, a cure for goo poison still hadn't been found, so they couldn't strike the Fearless Alliance. Bai Feng simply went too far. I heard she embarrassed Emperor Ji in the middle of the street a few days ago, and now she dares to humiliate Azura. Jiang Yin declared, enraged. Leave! The man sounded abnormally dark and cold. Jiang Yin trembled. Then this letter. Jiang Yin met his lord's dark expression and immediately said, I'll trash it immediately. That Bai Feng not only sent a letter to you, but also sent one to Emperor Ji. She simply, what did you say? The man's dark expression instantly turned into the dark, rolling clouds before a raging storm. Half an hour later, Yi Wanwan's fingers tapped against the coffee table. She didn't know whether Si Yin would come or not. She even specifically instructed Lu Ying to add fuel to the fire and lie that he was also sending a letter to Emperor Ji. Quiet but heavy footsteps were heard in the night winds outside the door. Thud, thud, thud. The sound of knocking reverberated in the eerie haunted house, making the night appear more terrifying. Yi Wanwan's eyes sharpened, and she nonchalantly stood up. Squeak! The main door was opened, and Yi Wanwan grinned when she saw the extremely foreboding man standing outside the door. Welcome, esteemed Lord Azura. Your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. It's truly my honor. Chapter 1550, For the man's mind instantly cleared up when he saw the girl's cunning eyes. He fell into her trap. However, if he didn't come, she might have really gone and met up with Ji Xiuran. She'd definitely do something like that. Hence, he only had one choice either way. Si Yin felt like a ball of flame was stiflingly roaring in his chest, but he didn't say anything. Yi Wanwan cheerfully said, Lord Azura, please enter. He stepped inside, and the door was shut by the wind with a bang. Close the door. Release Great White. To guarantee the best outcome, she specifically relocated Little Black elsewhere. Yi Wanwan excitedly glanced at Great White lying on the carpet. Great White, it's on you. Great White retained his wild nature and was extraordinarily cautious and rejected everyone except for Tang Tang and Si Yin, his owner. Back then, she had to strenuously improve his impression of her for a long time before she could finally approach him. Great White's attitude toward familiar people compared to strangers was very obvious. As Yi Wanwan led Si Yin into the house, she observed Great White's attitude. If Lord Azura was Si Yin, Great White would remain relaxed even if he wasn't too passionate. However, if Lord Azura was a stranger, Great White would definitely roar in warning at him. Please sit, Lord Azura. When Yi Wanwan saw Lord Azura looking at the white tiger, she imperceptibly said, "This is my pet. May I ask if Lord Azura has ever raised a pet?" "Never," the man answered expressionlessly. This man was lying through his teeth. Great White lay on the carpet, unperturbed, without even looking up. Yi Wanwan smiled fakely and commented, "How strange. My white tiger would definitely growl viciously at strangers, but he's not reacting at all upon seeing you today, Lord Azura. Is that so?" The man aloofly glanced at the tiger lying next to the sofa. Great White glanced up at the man, seemingly uninterested in attacking. Yi Wanwan looked unsurprised and snorted. "Of course, unless he's facing someone he's extremely close to, or his owner. My white tiger absolutely wouldn't react like this. I wonder, when did Lord Azura meet my Great White and get so familiar with him?" As Yi Wanwan pressingly asked, an earth-shattering roar was heard from next to her. Roar! Slaughter suddenly advanced toward and roared extremely viciously, exposing even his fangs. He was cautiously and threateningly staring at the man, as though he would pounce on the man at any moment. The man picked up a cup of tea and indifferently glanced at her. President Bai's pet seems to be a bit slow-witted in his reaction. Yi Wanwan was flabbergasted. A moment later, Yi Wanwan nearly exploded as she looked at the roaring and bristling Slaughter and the indifferent man across from her. "Slow-witted your sister. Damn. Great White, you faker. You're truly the same as your owner. I've misjudged you." Yi Wanwan gritted her teeth. "Good, wonderful. You're truly impressive, Lord Azura. I concede defeat to you. I don't understand what President Bai is saying." Roar! Yi Wanwan watched as the man played dumb, but she had no solution, so she viciously glared at the growling Slaughter. "Enough, you faker. I've treated you so well for nothing. Watch me take you with me when I remarry." Chapter 1555. 1555. When the man heard Yi Wanwan's last sentence, his hand holding the teacup paused briefly. Yi Wanwan smiled insincerely as she wrapped her arms around Great White's face and started mushing his face. "But wait, I wasn't married to begin with, so it wouldn't be remarrying. I can naturally marry whoever I want. Am I right, Great White? So aggravating, so aggravating, so aggravating." Great White twisted his misshapen face to escape from her clutches before shaking his fur. Roar! Control your woman. The man looked like he didn't hear Great White's indirect scolding. Of course, there was no way he would rescue a certain adorable pet. "If there's nothing else, President Bai, then I'll take my leave now." As soon as Yi Wanwan heard that, she released Great White and walked toward Lord Azura. Great White immediately escaped from her demon claws and disappeared without a trace. "Why are you in such a hurry, esteemed Lord Azura? I naturally invited you here today for business. You couldn't have forgotten that we won't have many days to live if the goo poison in us isn't cured. Aren't you worried in the slightest, esteemed Lord Azura?" The man sternly looked at her. "What are you thinking, President Bai?" Yi Wanwan smiled. "What am I thinking? I said last time that I already like someone, so it's impossible for me to fall in love with anyone else. Hence, I invited Lord Azura to come here today to discuss solutions with Lord Azura." Lord Azura's eyes were akin to an unfathomable ocean. "What solutions does President Bai have?" Yi Wanwan's clear and dazzling eyes were focused on him as she said while stressing every word, "My love for Emperor Ji is stronger than gold and more solid than a rock. My love for him would only diminish if all the mountains disappeared, all the oceans dried up, thunder started rolling in the winter sky, snow started drifting on a blazing summer day, and heaven and earth melded into one. Hence, if the esteemed Lord Azura wants to cure the goo poison by having us fall in love with each other, I'm advising you to give up now. My relationship with my boyfriend is stronger than gold and more solid than a rock. My love for him would only diminish if all the mountains disappeared, all the oceans dried up, thunder started rolling in the winter sky, snow started drifting on a blazing summer day, and heaven and earth melded into one. So you should just give up. Lord Azura felt like time suddenly rewound to the past. The girl's clear and happy voice was ringing next to his ears. Back then, she was still a little afraid of him, but she tried to please him in every way possible and once told him that someone pursued her at school. However, she was well-behaved and told that guy she had a boyfriend already and said those lines to him. Now, though, the same words were repeated to him, but she was referring to another man. G. Chiron, this chapter is scrapped from Read Light Novel. This name corroded him like a venomous curse. The man asked aloofly, "Is that so?" Yuan didn't know whether she was imagining it, but his impenetrable and flawless expression looked the same. Yet he also seemed to have changed somehow. "Of course," Yuan replied with conviction and was about to continue when pain radiated from her lips all of a sudden. Scorching heat enveloped her lips and a blanketing aura engulfed her. The besieging and storming kiss caused Yuan's eyes to shoot open and nearly jump out of its sockets. She was originally driven into a corner by anger and wanted to regain her pride and aggravate him, even if she couldn't make him expose himself. But she didn't expect things to develop like this. What took her by further surprise was that the man actually grasped her fingers after the kiss ended and guided her hand in unbuttoning his shirt one by one. Soon, the man's neck, collarbones, and chest were released from their confines as button after button turned loose. Yuan dazedly felt like she was ignited and couldn't do anything but accusingly and indignantly glare at the man in front of her. "Fuck, this is too excessive." Actually went so far as to use the honeypot trap. Chapter 1556. 1556, is that so? President Bai can have a try first. Yuan was outraged by this man's seduction. The honeypot trap was her trump card tonight. So, why was it him who used it first in the end? The progression of this plot was illogical. No, I have to stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. She had to be the one in control tonight. She couldn't allow this man to lead her by a leash. Yuan took a deep breath and restrained herself from glancing at the half-naked chest. She hypnotized herself into thinking it was just a slab of stone underneath her hand and tried her best to enter the mode of a meditating old monk. "Esteemed Lord Azura, what are you doing? Please respect yourself. It's utterly useless even if you act like this. If I like a person, I'd be wholeheartedly devoted to him, and he'd be the only person in my eyes and heart. Other beautiful men in my eyes are nothing but passing clouds. I'm not someone that can be mesmerized by beautiful men. The world claims I'm wanton and unrestrained, but I'm actually an honorable person." Before she could finish speaking, a scorching kiss sealed her lips again. "Honorable? Your ass." Yuan leaped up and forcefully pounced on him. A second later, a thud was heard as the couple fell onto the sofa behind them. Yuan pressed the man hard against the sofa and ripped off the final buttons on his shirt before releasing a frustrated scream and biting his collarbone, leaving red marks behind. The man grunted and his ferocious eyes shifted to extreme gentleness and indulgence. His hand loosely wrapped around her waist to prevent her from accidentally rolling off the sofa. President Bai seems to be saying one thing, but means another. Yuan didn't care how she kept humiliatingly proving herself wrong and grumbled with a snort. "Heh, no wonder Lord Azura isn't worried at all despite death being so close at hand. It turns out you're confident about your charm and don't think there's anyone you can't charm. Do you think I'm who you think I am? I'm telling you, you're right." Then, she barbarously bit his lips. All the man's defenses collapsed completely under the girl's soft body and soothing warmth. In the next second, Lord Azura gripped her waist, and their positions switched in the blink of an eye. Before the man could press down a kiss, Yuan didn't forget her business and tilted her head slightly to the side to dodge him. Rumors claim that the esteemed Lord Azura retains his distance from women, but it appears you're also saying one thing while meaning another. The man expressionlessly replied, "President Bai, I'm Lord Azura, but I'm also a normal man." Yuan instantly became enraged by this man's matter-of-fact tone. "So Lord Azura is saying you're only acting like this toward me, because you're having a normal male biological response? The man's expression froze for a minute and didn't say anything, but judging from his expression, he was agreeing tacitly. Yi Wanwan snorted. Lord Azura, allow me to remind you about something. A one-night stand can't cure the goo. Love goo was the king of Gus, so it couldn't be cured so easily. It required two people to love each other genuinely. In other words, if this goo was cured in the end, it meant he was lying. When the man heard her, his gaze darkened slightly and chilled. Before reminding me, President Bai, shouldn't you also remind yourself why you're acting so unnecessarily tonight if you're truly wholeheartedly devoted to Emperor Ji? Chapter 1557, Yi Wanwan gritted her teeth before beaming and replying, You're right. I'm wholeheartedly devoted to Emperor Ji. Even if I fluttered through a flower field, my heart still won't change. However, how am I acting unnecessarily? You're Lord Azura after all, so I'd live without any regrets if I could sleep with you once, even if it doesn't cure the goo. The icy light in the man's eyes exploded almost instantly, and he stared at her as though he wanted to devour her whole. Every word she spoke treated Ji Xiran as an adored god that she could watch from afar, but couldn't touch obscenely while he was a flower field that she could hunt in her leisure time. Did she do everything she once did to him with the intention of hunting a beautiful man? What about back then? Was this also why she pretended to be a minor leader of the Fearless Alliance, infiltrated Azura, and got close to him in every way possible? Which was why she disappeared without a trace after sleeping with him. When he thought up to this point, he felt like his heart was being torn apart and his entire body was burning in a raging inferno. Yi Wanwan watched as his gaze became increasingly terrifying and his face turned increasingly pallid. She probably angered him to his limit this time. If this was in the past, she wouldn't have dared to utter such suicidal words, but this was a pressing time. Every method she employed was useless, so she had to resort to extreme methods. Outside the door, the winds howled and whistled. Thud, thud, thud. The sound of knocking abruptly rang alongside the winds. This late? Who's knocking? It was a crucial moment right now, and the man was about to expose a flaw. Yi Wanwan naturally couldn't give up halfway, so she ignored the knocking. However, the knocking persisted rhythmically. Yi Wanwan decisively ignored it, and was about to add some fuel and provoke him some more when a male voice was heard outside the door. Xiao Feng? Are you home? Shit. Ji Xiran. Yi Wanwan flopped up like a fish out of water and accidentally knocked over a cup on the coffee table, creating a piercing, shattering sound. Damn, why did Ji Xiran suddenly come over at this kind of time? Seriously, perhaps since he heard the sound of a cup breaking, Ji Xiran's knocking and voice turned more urgent. Xiao Feng, are you okay? Yi Wanwan's back stiffened, and she spun around in circles anxiously. Lord Azura, hurry and hide. Ji Xiran sounded like he thought something happened to her and was about to break the door down. He was on the verge of entering, so it would be too late even if they left through the back door. Yi Wanwan's eyes scanned the living room and caught a gigantic cabinet on the side. She was about to say something when Ji Xiran called again. Xiao Feng? Ah, I'm fine. Why did you come here so late? Did something happen? Yi Wanwan hastily yelled. At the same time, Yi Wanwan urged the man on the sofa. Quick, quick, quick! A layer of frost spread across the man's face as he watched Yi Wanwan's panicked and anxious appearance. He languidly sat up and nonchalantly fastened two of the buttons on his shirt before sitting up motionlessly. Fuck! Didn't karma come too quickly? Yi Wanwan wanted a ball. She plopped down on her knees in front of the sofa and laid her head against the man's knees, her eyes teary and her voice soft beyond imagination. Lord Azura, please, please. I won't forget your great kindness for the rest of my life. Chapter 1558. The girl rubbed her soft face against his knees as she pitifully looked up at him, causing the frost blanketing his face, the raging inferno incinerating his heart, and the pain cleaving his body to all ebb a few degrees in the blink of an eye. As soon as Yi Wanwan saw that the situation had taken a promising turn, She rolled up and grabbed his arm before swiftly pushing him toward the gigantic cabinet. She opened the cabinet doors. "Please hide inside, Lord Azura." The man looked at the cabinet behind him, then the front door, and his slightly eased-up expression instantly chilled again. Yi Wanwan was acting like she was about to get caught in bed with her lover by her real boyfriend. This damn woman? A loud bang was heard. Ji Shiran was probably worried that something had happened inside and started violently slamming the door. Yi Wanwan was drowning in regret about pissing him off earlier. She used his shoulders as support and tried to press a kiss against his lips. "Please, pretty please." The man leaned his face to the side and evaded her. "Shit, I really pissed him off this time." "Ah." Yi Wanwan furrowed her brows and suddenly clutched her stomach in agony. "It hurts." Then Yi Wanwan took advantage of the distraction, forcefully shoved him into the cabinet, and slammed the door shut before locking it from the outside with a catch-hack. The second before she closed the doors, she saw the man's extremely furious and terrifying expression. At the same time, the main door was slammed open from the outside. Ji Shiran entered the house. Yi Wanwan ran over, soaked in sweat. Why are you here? What happened?" Ji Shiran's eyes imperceptibly examined the living room. Yi Wanwan cautiously blocked the cabinet from his line of sight and replied sleepily, as though she just woke up, "Nothing. I just accidentally knocked over a teacup." "Hurry and sit. Let me get some tea for you." "You have a visitor?" Ji Shiran glanced at the coffee table. Aside from the teacup she shattered, there was another cup sitting across from it. Yi Wanwan's heart skipped a beat. As she cleaned up the broken pieces, she explained, "Seven Star came over and sat for a little bit earlier. It's so late already. Did you need something?" Ji Shiran stared at the teacup for a few more seconds before sitting down on the sofa. He acted like he believed her and wore a faint smile like always. "Not much. I just felt like I needed to explain to you that there's nothing going on between worryless Nye and me. That's all." Yi Wanwan hastily said, "It's nothing. It's nothing. I don't mind at all. I believe you, of course. I believe everything you say." "Is that so?" "Of course." Yi Wanwan nodded frantically. "Then I hope you'll also listen to what I said to you at the Shun estate today," Ji Shiran said. "What did Ji Shiran say to her tonight?" Yi Wanwan's mind was in a disordered state right now, so she tried her best to recall what he said. She finally remembered and quickly said, "You told me not to go near Lord Azura." "I know, I heard you. I'll listen to you seriously, of course." Yi Wanwan solemnly vowed, "Don't worry. I absolutely won't go near him." As soon as she said that, a thud was heard from the direction of the cabinet. Ji Shiran's eyes instantly shot toward the origin of the sound, a sharpness flickering through his eyes. All the hairs on Yi Wanwan's body stood on end from fright. "Shit!" Chapter 1559. At that moment, a black figure sauntered out from behind the cabinet. Yi Wanwan's eyes shifted and she quickly said, "Virus, why are you so naughty?" She decisively shoved the blame onto Virus. When Virus walked past the cabinet, he seemed to have detected something and suspiciously halted in front of the cabinet and sniffed the air before releasing a low, warning growl. "Damn! Don't undermine me, little black." Yi Wanwan hastily slapped the spot next to her on the sofa and commanded, "Virus, come over." "Roar!" The Black Panther hesitated between the cabinet and Yi Wanwan before choosing Yi Wanwan and walking toward her. The Black Panther nimbly leaped onto the sofa and skillfully propped his head on Yi Wanwan's lap. Yi Wanwan appeasingly scratched Virus' chin, causing him to squint in comfort and completely forget about the cabinet. That was close. Yi Wanwan finally relaxed when she saw Ji Shiran stop focusing on the cabinet. She cleared her throat and said, "It's so late already. I won't keep you any longer. It looks like it's about to rain, so you should leave soon." Ji Shiran picked up his cup. "No hurry." Yi Wanwan. "What do you mean, no hurry? I'm in a great hurry, all right? Who knows how much longer that boss can tolerate staying inside the cabinet." "Xiao Feng, I know you like to have fun and like good-looking people. However, you can like anyone but Lord Azura. Do you understand?" Ji Shiran's tone remained as gentle as always, but his eyes contained a severeness that had never been there before. Understood, understood. I really don't have any feelings for Lord Azura. That guy is always so eerie and stern-looking. He's so scary. I wouldn't take a fancy to him no matter how good-looking he is, all right? Yuan only wanted Ji Shiran to hurry and leave, so she would agree to everything he said. Who cared what he said? It was right regardless. However, this way, she'd probably terribly offend the other person. For the first time ever, Yuan felt like she was facing a crisis she'd never encountered before in her pacifying career. I probably can't pacify his fur. I'm very picky. I prefer men who are gentle and like to smile. Yuan was forced to first pacify the man before her in this tragic situation. Ji Shiran chuckled softly upon hearing that. That smile. Truthfully, Ji Shiran's attack power was too immense whenever he smiled. Yuan regained her wits and slapped her head. What kind of time was it? How could she dwell on this nonsense? Thankfully, though, Ji Shiran finally believed her. It's really late. You should sleep soon. Yes, you too. All the tenseness rushed out of Yuan, and she didn't notice how Ji Shiran imperceptibly glanced at that simple cabinet. I'll walk you out, Yuan eagerly exclaimed. A second before Yuan stood up to walk Ji Shiran out, a wave of chaotic footsteps was heard from the outside. On the tail was Big Dipper's signature, unnecessarily loud voice. Sis Fong, are you asleep? Big Dipper? Fuck me. It sounded like there were quite a number of people with Big Dipper. Didn't he leave? What the heck was he doing so late at night? No, I can't let Big Dipper and the others see you. Yuan was about to go insane. What was worse was that the lock on the door was destroyed by Ji Shiran earlier, so the door was unlocked. The sound of Big Dipper's footsteps approached, and the door was slowly being pushed open. There was only one place she could hide someone in the entire living room. Chapter 1560. If Big Dipper and Seven Stars saw Ji Shiran here, she would be nagged until she died. Additionally, her relationship with Emperor Ji had to be kept a secret from other people. I'll hide, Ji Shiran said, and walked to the giant cabinet. When Ji Shiran was about to open the cabinet door, Yuan shouted, "Don't!" The door was locked and couldn't be opened from the inside, but it could be opened from the outside. Yuan watched as Emperor Ji opened the cabinet door, and his gentle and warm eyes clashed with the frosty and stormy eyes resting inside the cabinet. Yuan shut her eyes with an anguished wail. The life of a sinner. Sis Fong. Why is your door broken, Sis Fong? Yuan face-bombed and had no choice but to push Ji Shiran inside. She pleadingly peered at the two bosses inside and begged, sorry for the trouble. I'll kick them out ASAP. You two get along peacefully. Don't start fighting in there. She really wanted to cry. Ji Shiran glanced at the man next to him and calmly smiled. Sure, Ji Shiran is Ji Shiran. He could still smile despite seeing another man in the cabinet and didn't react strangely at all. What kind of terrifying figure did she provoke? As for Lord Azura, his eyes were like daggers as he glanced at her before calmly closing his eyes. Yuan hastily shut the cabinet doors. The second the doors closed, Big Dipper and Seven Star entered. Big Dipper plopped down on the sofa and picked up the tea Emperor Ji drank previously and gulped it down. He didn't notice at all that the cup was still warm and someone was just there. Sis Fong, why is your door broken? Wasn't it fine when we left earlier? But it's fine, I'm talented at installing doors, so I'll help you fix it in a jiffy. Leave it to me. Big Dipper, who became experienced with installing doors, gloated. Why are you two back? Yuan fumed inwardly at the duo. Big Dipper replied, we have something very important, of course. Yuan smiled insincerely. If the sky isn't falling down, I'll beat you to death. It's related to your life, Sis Fong, so how could the sky not be falling down? Then Big Dipper clapped his hands and said, enter. A dozen or so people poured into the house. Yuan's eyes flitted over the newcomers. They were all handsome young men. There was a man for every style and demeanor, and their looks were several times better than the batch Big Dipper hastily found last time. It appeared he exerted quite the effort to find these people this time. Yuan pinched her eyebrows, a headache on the horizon. Again? Didn't I tell you to stop it already? Moreover, it's useless for my circumstances even if you found people. Big Dipper leaned in close to Yi Wan and said, How's it useless? I heard that thing could affect your body, making it secrete some hormones or something, and could make you lose control easier. Your recent behavior proves it's true. Don't lose your life before you treat the goo in you. Sis Foam, make do with them for now. It'll stop you from acting suicidally over and over again. Let's cut off all thoughts about Emperor G and Lord Azura. Okay? Although 7-Star didn't speak, he probably agreed with Big Dipper's actions. In order to quickly coax these two into leaving, Yuan earnestly said, Didn't I already say that I was bored earlier? In your eyes, am I really someone who would lose all rationality because I got muddled in the head by beautiful men? Chapter 1561. 1561 7-Star chose to stay silent while Big Dipper nodded vehemently. Aren't you? Get over here. I promise I won't beat you to death. Big Dipper instantly hid behind 7-Star. Sis Foam, I've known you for many years, so I know you inside and out. Stop lying to yourself. You haven't even looked at them, so how would you know there aren't any that you like? Take a close look at them. I was in a rush last time, but I picked them out carefully this time. I wasn't even so careful when picking a wife. Take a look first. As soon as she thought about the two men inside the cabinet, she wasn't in the mood to enjoy even celestial fairies descending from the heavens, all right? Yuan casually glanced at the group of men. The men Big Dipper found this time all had extremely good looks indeed and left an outstanding impression on her. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be hard if there was no comparison. In contrast to the two men inside her cabinet, they couldn't blame her for being disinterested at a single look. In order to ward off Big Dipper and 7-Star, Yuan randomly picked one. That one. Big Dipper looked at the one she chose. He looked especially adorable with dimples on his cheeks, standing timidly in place. Big Dipper grumbled, Sis Foam, stop fooling around. How could you possibly like this type? Choose sincerely, don't just brush me off. Come here, take a look to see how you like this one. He pulled Yuan to the side like he was showing off a treasure and pointed at the last person. Look at this one. How is he? Yuan looked at the man Big Dipper was pointing at. The man was wearing a white suit, and he had natural flax-colored hair and light gray eyes. His looks were exquisitely pretty, and he was smiling gently. What made her raise her brows was that the man's features shared some resemblance to Si Yin. Yuan murmured, This man was simply a fusion of Emperor G and Lord Azura. His temperament resembled Emperor G, but his looks resembled Lord Azura. How is he? Quite decent, right? He has all of Emperor G and Lord Azura's advantages. I had to search all over the Independent State to find such a magnificent specimen. Big Dipper said excitedly. Yuan didn't carefully look at these people at all earlier. Now that she finally had a look, she had to admit that this man was pretty high quality purely from an admiration perspective, the kind that would be insanely popular by looks alone in the entertainment industry. He is pretty nice, Yuan said as she rubbed her chin. Joy flashed through the man's eyes when he heard Yuan. Right. I knew you'd like him. Think about it. When you're with this little beauty, it's like you're with both Emperor G and Lord Azura at the same time. How great is that? Big Dipper enthusiastically advertised. Yuan rolled her eyes. What did he mean with both Emperor G and Lord Azura at the same time? Did he have to say something so terrifying? As Big Dipper observed Yuan's expression, he asked, How is he? How about I leave him here for you? One person definitely isn't enough for you, Sis Foam. How about I leave them all here for you? Yuan's lips twitched. Not enough your ass. No, I don't want any of them. Take them all away. I need to sleep. Don't disturb me. I'm telling you, I'm utterly disinterested in beautiful men right now. Beautiful men are all passing clouds. Chapter 1562. 1562, Big Dipper pursed his lips and accused, Sis Foam, you're lying. You haven't given up on Emperor G and Lord Azura yet. 7-Star expressionlessly said, If Sis Feng doesn't like these ones, we can look again. Yi Wanwan wanted to pull her hair out from aggravation. These brats just won't listen to me. Big Dipper ordered the group of men to leave first before persistently saying, Sis Feng, I was afraid you wouldn't be satisfied, so the second and third batches are on the way already. I'll definitely make sure you find someone you're satisfied with. Yi Wanwan rubbed her chin and feebly said, I swear, I was just having fun because I was bored earlier. I really, truly don't have any feelings for Emperor Ji and Lord Azura, okay? Really? Big Dipper evidently didn't believe her. Then why did you give 999 white roses to Emperor Ji in public and ask Emperor Ji out for a camel at dinner? After you finished, you jumped over the wall of Azura's manor in the middle of the night to secretly meet up with Lord Azura and was wearing Lord Azura's clothes when you came back. Yuanwan didn't even have time to stop Big Dipper, and he already blurted everything out. She quickly glanced at the cabinet, terror-stricken, before viciously glaring at Big Dipper. Big Dipper, you ass! Fuck! You actually sold me out! Currently, inside the dim cabinet, electricity sparked as the two men's gazes collided together. The cabinet's soundproofing was decent, so people outside couldn't hear them if they spoke quietly. The narrow space barely fit two people. Ji Shiran was reclining against the side as he calmly smiled and said, We meet again. What an honor. Si Yihin's eyes were aloof. What commendable willpower you have, Emperor Ji. Being able to remain so calm despite running into another man hiding in a cabinet at his fiancée's house in the middle of the night. Wasn't his willpower commendable indeed? Ji Shiran smiled. You flatter me too much. I merely trust Xiaofeng. The other man's confident and indifferent tone caused Si Yihin's originally chilly face to darken several more degrees. Si Yihin expressionlessly said, It appears Emperor Ji's understanding of her is merely thus. Ji Shiran chuckled dryly and looked at the other man aloofly. Since you said that, Lord Azura, you clearly don't understand me well either. Si Yihin remained expressionless. I don't think I'm interested in understanding you. Emperor Ji, is that so? Ji Shiran's lips turned up. You will be. At the same time, outside the cabinet, Yuanwan hastily interrupted Big Dipper's non-stop blabbering and said, seething, Of course it's true. Didn't you see how they were both at the banquet tonight? But I behaved and didn't do anything? I merely stirred up some trouble in private. Big Dipper scratched his head. Sis Feng, I can understand why you want to sleep with Lord Azura and Emperor Ji, but those two aren't to be trifled with. Say, if you taint Lord Azura and Emperor Ji's innocent bodies and are unwilling to take responsibility, they will blow a fuse and want to punish our fearless alliance. They won't be easy to fend off. Also, your reputation will also turn rotten, Sis Feng. You freaking, Yi Wanwan frowned deeply. What nonsense are you spouting? There's absolutely nothing between me and Emperor Ji or Lord Azura. Really? Big Dipper looked bewildered. Seeing 7-Star and Big Dipper's expressions turn uncertain, Yi Wanwan persisted. Don't you know me from all these years? My taste changes very fast, so why would I waste so much time on the same person? Even if I was interested in those two before, as time goes on, that'd be the end of it, the duo inside the cabinet. Chapter 1563, That's true. Big Dipper nodded, and 7-Star also became uncertain. Bai Feng really had that kind of personality? Seeing that she stumbled upon the truth, she kept hammering in the nail. Right. No matter how good-looking Emperor Ji and Lord Azura are, they're merely just that after looking at them long enough. Inside the cabinet, the two men met each other's eyes. That's right. Big Dipper nodded vehemently. Sis Feng, those two are good-looking, but it's stressful to flirt with them. Take another look at these men, Sis Feng. TSK. Their looks aren't horrible. In reality, they're all about the same when you turn off the lights, and you can do whatever you want without any stress or pressure. Am I right, Sis Feng? Yes. But I'm uninterested today. Next time. All right? Yi Wanwan eagerly waved her hand, wanting 7-Star and Big Dipper to get lost pronto. Sis Feng, You really don't want them? There's still a second batch whose looks are even better. Big Dipper hastily said, Don't. Didn't I say next time? Quickly go home and rest. Yuan fumed inwardly. How did these children not understand human speech? When Big Dipper and Seven Star finally looked convinced, a loud bang suddenly rang out from the gigantic cabinet. The lock on the cabinet clattered to the ground, and the cabinet doors were slapped open from the inside, splintering and raining onto the floor in pieces. As for Emperor G and Lord Azura, they walked out of the closet together, just like that. The moment they left the closet, Yuan felt as if 9 unexpected lightning strikes were coming at her simultaneously. Big Dipper's eyes shot open as he stared at the 2 live people exiting the cabinet, his teacup crashing onto the floor and the tea in his mouth dripping out of his mouth without notice. Seven Star was also flabbergasted as he stared at them, unable to snap out of his daze or believe what he was seeing. However, it was Yuan who was most shocked. Oh my God! Why did you 2 come out? If she wasn't mistaken, these 2 people didn't accidentally damage the door while fighting inside the cabinet. Instead, they reached out at the same time to break open the door. Emperor G looked at Yuan with a faint smile. My apologies, it's a little stuffy in the cabinet, so it was hard to bear. Just because of that? Who the hell would believe that? Also, is that the point? Lord Azura languidly fixed his sleeves and actually agreed with the other man. Yes, Yuan. As if anyone would believe your bullshit. A second ago, Yuan was still saying how she completely lost interest in Emperor G and Lord Azura. A second later, Big Dipper and Seven Star saw the live Emperor G and Lord Azura walking out of the cabinet together. Moreover, Lord Azura, who always dressed meticulously and went the self-suppressive route, currently had 2 of his buttons open with his chest exposed, evidently a bit disheveled. This scene was simply an Armageddon. Didn't she agree to stay out of trouble? Didn't she say beautiful men were all passing clouds? Didn't she say she wasn't interested in Emperor G and Lord Azura? As Big Dipper looked at the 2 bosses in front of him, he was trembling with fear. He hastily wiped off the tea from his mouth and shot up, standing ramrod straight. He didn't know whether it was his misperception, but he felt like these 2 bosses looked at him rather terrifyingly. What did he do wrong? He didn't know anything. Even the typically mature and unflustered Seven Star couldn't recover from the scene he was seeing and opened his mouth, unable to utter a word. Yuan clutched her forehead, a look of despair on her face. Chapter 1564. Yuan couldn't help but facepalm. Why is this happening? What kind of sin did I commit? The shock gradually receded from Big Dipper's face. He rubbed his chin with his right hand as his eyes kept darting between Lord Azura and Ji Shiran in examination, a meaningful glint in his eyes. No wonder. This would make sense then, Big Dipper murmured. Seven Star was startled, unaware of the meaning behind Big Dipper's words. What did he mean by, this would make sense then? No wonder. Emperor G had never been intimate with women all these years. As for Lord Azura, he's a popsicle 24/7 and doesn't have any woman around him. Big Dipper pulled Seven Star to the side with a solemn expression. Shit, did we come at a bad time? Are we going to be silenced forever? Silence forever? Seven Star was baffled. What did they do that had caused them to be killed and silenced forever? Old Seven, are you soft in the head? Aren't you pretty smart normally? So why don't you understand something this obvious? Big Dipper tried to speak as quietly as possible. What do you mean? Seven Star was expressionless. Idiot. Big Dipper glanced at him. Isn't it obvious? Think about it. Emperor G and Lord Azura always keep their distance from women, but they were hiding in Sis Fang's cabinet today, and they're in a disheveled state. Also, didn't you hear what Emperor G just said? He said he was hot. If they weren't hugging, why would they be hot? Seven Star furrowed his brows. It made sense on the surface, but couldn't withstand further deliberation. If Emperor G and Lord Azura did have that kind of relationship like Big Dipper was implying, it'd be better for them to find somewhere more hidden. Why would they come to Sis Fang's house? However, Why those two were hiding inside the cabinet for no reason with Lord Azura in a disheveled state couldn't be easily explained. Even 7-Star couldn't figure it out. Shit, no wonder Sis Fong is so close to Emperor G and Lord Azura and claims she has feelings for them. It appears she's just acting as a cover for Emperor G and Lord Azura's relationship. Moreover, Lord Azura and Emperor G's antagonistic relationship must just be a show for the rest of the independent state. No wonder they started fighting at the Shun residence last time. It's all a show. Big Dipper sounded extremely convinced and confident about this, as though he'd discovered some giant, phenomenal secret. Old Seven say, who's on top? Who's on the bottom in Emperor G and Lord Azura's relationship? Big Dipper looked at 7-Star. 7-Star, Emperor G might look gentle and graceful, while Lord Azura looks icy like an iceberg, but I think Emperor G might just be the one on top. Big Dipper suppressed his volume. You guys can leave now, Yuan said with exasperation as she watched Big Dipper and 7-Star whispering to each other nearby. Leave what leave? Sis Fong, you're wrong this time. You have to be considerate as a person, Sis Fong. You're too inconsiderate. Big Dipper grabbed Yuan by her shoulders and didn't allow any room for objections before dragging her out of the house. Am I right, Emperor G? Lord Azura? Sorry, Sis Fong is still young and insensible. You guys have fun. We're not in a hurry. You guys have fun and play however you want. You can come out whenever you've had your fill. It's fine even if you're a bit tired. If you're too tired, I can drive you home later. Then Big Dipper harshly closed the house door with a bang. Chapter 1565. Yuan stood outside the house, utterly bewildered. What in the world did Big Dipper just say? Sis Fong. Big Dipper didn't allow Yuan a chance to say anything and meaningfully advised. Sis Fong, I'm not lecturing you, but you're clearly uninterested in Emperor G and Lord Azura. So why didn't you say anything earlier? Even if you discovered their secret, you can keep it from Old Seven, but you shouldn't have kept it from me. Don't you know about my tight lips? I never speak carelessly. Yuan. Sis Fong, be more considerate next time. When Emperor G and Lord Azura are being lovey-dovey and intimate, you should walk away. Don't act unnecessarily and act as a third wheel. Big Dipper continued prattling. Old Seven, your lips are too loose. You mustn't disclose it to other people, and it has to stay between us, Big Dipper said as he promptly turned to 7-Star. Before Big Dipper could continue, a squeak was heard, and the door was opened from the inside. Ji Shiran had a faint smile on his face as he walked out with Lord Azura following shortly after him. So soon? Big Dipper was taken aback when he saw them appearing. Ah, don't be a stranger. Think of this as your house and play however you want, Big Dipper chuckled, thinking that Emperor G and Lord Azura were too embarrassed. We've had enough fun, Ji Shiran replied with a light chuckle while looking at Big Dipper. Right. You're right, Emperor G. The length of time isn't important. What's important is happiness. Having fun is the most important thing. Big Dipper turned to 7-Star. Old Seven, am I right? 7-Star looked a bit embarrassed and opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but he couldn't say anything. President Bai, we had a pleasant conversation today. I'll visit you at night again soon, Lord Azura said to Yuan. Yuan fumed silently. Lord Azura aloofly glanced at Ji Shiran before leaving the unlucky house. Come frequently, Lord Azura. Consider this your own home, and play however you want. You mustn't be a stranger. Big Dipper ran to the front and shouted while watching Lord Azura leave. Yuan, you freaking... Excuse me, can I have a private conversation with your sis Fong? Ji Shiran asked Big Dipper with a chuckle. Big Dipper was startled. Emperor G, Old Seven, and I found some good-looking antidotes for the side effects of Sis Fang's goo poison. Can we wait until Sis Fong is treated? Yuan finally cursed at the end of her patience. Didn't I freaking tell you I don't need it? Fine, Sis Fong. Then we'll wait until you're interested in a few days. Have a good chat with Emperor G, Old Seven, and I will go now. After saying that, Big Dipper led a group of men away from the unlucky house without looking back. Sorry for the disturbance, 7-star apologetically said to Yi Wanwan and Ji Shiran before quickly following Big Dipper and leaving. Now, only Ji Shiran and Yi Wanwan were left in the enormous mansion. Yi Wanwan didn't know whether to stand or sit when she saw how unaffected Emperor Ji looked. What's this man thinking? Was I pretty much caught cheating in bed? Why does this feel weird somehow? Xiaofeng. Ji Shiran stared at Yi Wanwan and chuckled. Brew some tea for me. Chapter 1566, Brew some tea? Okay, Yi Wanwan headed to the living room. Moments later, she was sitting by the coffee table and pouring a cup of tea for Ji Shiran. Ji Shiran drank the cup of tea in one gulp. Why are you drinking tea in the middle of the night? Yi Wanwan looked confused. To reduce the heat, Ji Shiran replied with a calm smile. Yi Wanwan, can you stop smiling? It'd be good if you got angry. Why do I feel so scared? Shiran, let me explain. What happened today isn't what you think. Lord Azura came because, right? He came to discuss a collaboration with me. Yi Wanwan said confidently. However, Ji Shiran didn't entertain her topic and said with a detached smile, an instructor at Scarlet Flames Academy owes me a favor. I talked to him a few days ago, so you can go to Scarlet Flames Academy. Go to Scarlet Flames Academy? Yi Wanwan was baffled. Weren't we talking about my situation with Lord Azura? Why did Scarlet Flames Academy suddenly come up? Moreover, why does Ji Shiran want me to go to Scarlet Flames Academy for no reason? To be an instructor? Shiran, why am I going to Scarlet Flames Academy? Yi Wanwan didn't understand. Just go, Ji Shiran replied with a smile. Yi Wanwan. She did have plans to go to Scarlet Flames Academy, though. If that headmaster was willing to help her, perhaps she could recover her memories. However, she was the president of the Fearless Alliance, and with Scarlet Flames Academy's temperament, there was no way they'd like the Fearless Alliance, not to even mention whether their headmaster would assist her. This is the recommendation letter. Just show them my recommendation letter after you arrive at Scarlet Flames Academy. Ji Shiran took out a letter from somewhere and handed it to Yi Wanwan. All right then, Yi Wanwan accepted the letter. Although she didn't know what Ji Shiran intended, she wanted to go to Scarlet Flames Academy. She was just worried she wouldn't be able to go. Ji Shiran was too considerate. What identity am I using to go to Scarlet Flames Academy? Yi Wanwan asked with curiosity. A new student, he answered. A student again? I'm already tired of the student life, all right? I don't want to go to school again unless I'm a teacher. Shiran, you want the president of the Fearless Alliance to go to Scarlet Flames Academy as a student? Yi Wanwan stared at Ji Shiran. I'm fine with that, but I'm afraid the entire Fearless Alliance, from the members to the higher-ups, wouldn't accept it. How about you let me go there as an instructor or teacher or something? Ji Shiran shook his head. All the instructors at Scarlet Flames Academy were promoted from within the academy itself. It would be very difficult for me, let alone you, to become an instructor at one of the 3 great academies. Also, you don't need to go as the president of the Fearless Alliance. You just need to adopt an alias. Yi Wanwan, adopting another alias? Ah, I suddenly remember. It's really busy at the Fearless Alliance lately. Yi Wanwan hastily exclaimed. Oh! Ji Shiran stared at Yi Wanwan meaningfully. Since it's like that, why don't we talk about your relationship with Lord Azura? As soon as Ji Shiran said that, Yi Wanwan smiled. Shiran, actually, I wanted to experience Scarlet Flames Academy for myself for quite some time now. I'll definitely go. In. Ji Shiran nodded lightly. Fine, Ji Shiran, you're crueler. It's late now, so I won't keep you anymore. Sleep soon. Ji Shiran stood up airily and turned to leave after bidding Yi Wanwan farewell. Chapter 1567. 1567, it was only after Ji Shiran completely left the premises that Yi Wanwan finally relaxed. Were they shooting a drama tonight? Did it have to be so melodramatic? Soon, Yi Wanwan entered her bedroom. Great White was lying on the bed and peering at Yi Wanwan from the corner of his eyes. Yi Wanwan stood on the side of the bed and harshly glared at Great White. Your acting is pretty good, Great White. Great White turned his head to the side. I didn't realize how good you were at acting, baby. When we return to China, You and Little Black can be partners, and I'll support your debut. How about it? Yi Wanwan sat on the bed and lifted Great White's head to place him on her lap. Virus suddenly straightened up from the floor when he heard Yi Wanwan mention his name. Great White stayed silent, occasionally sneaking a glance at Yi Wanwan. The night passed without a word. The next morning, after Yi Wanwan finished handling the Fearless Alliance's affairs, she drove to the Nye district and arrived at the Nye residence. Before she entered the Nye residence, she saw Nameless Nye running out as though he was on fire. Sister Famous. Nameless Nye was taken aback when he saw Yi Wanwan. His expression turned mysterious at once. Sister Famous. Oh my God, something big happened in the Independent State. Something big. Yi Wanwan was baffled. What big thing could have possibly happened? What is it? Yi Wanwan asked. Nameless Nye looked around him before secretively saying, Sister Famous, this is an enormous secret, and it has a gigantic connection to you. Then tell me the freaking secret. Sister Famous, you know how I'm kind of considered a boss, the type that sells information? Look, this type of enormous information that's related to you. Shouldn't you? Nameless Nye stared at Yi Wanwan while rubbing his hands together. Oh, don't tell me then. I'm uninterested. Yi Wanwan walked past Nameless Nye to head inside the house. Don't, my sister. Nameless Nye hastily blocked her. I'm telling you, it's absolutely worth more than your money. When have I ever tricked you? When haven't you tricked me? I guarantee it's true this time. Yi Wanwan sighed and took out a few $100 bills from her purse before handing them to Nameless Nye. If I'm not satisfied, I'll beat you to death today. Nameless Nye happily stowed away the bills in his pocket and mysteriously said, Sister Famous, when we were at the Shun family's banquet, I saw your boyfriend, Ian. That's the gigantic secret in the Independent State? Also, your boyfriend is actually Lord Azura. Although he didn't admit it, I think he looks very similar. Even if he's not your boyfriend, he's your boyfriend's biological brother. He might even be his biological dad. Yi Wanwan, also, did you know? Lord Azura actually likes men. Ji Shiran too. Why is Shiran that kind of person? He actually has a thing with Lord Azura. These two people, what a pity. Nameless Nye grieved lamentably while shaking his head. Yi Wanwan looked at Nameless Nye with a frown. You're saying Ji Shiran and Lord Azura have that kind of relationship? Yes. Nameless Nye said. It's absolutely true. Where did you hear it? A foreboding feeling arose in Yi Wanwan's heart. Old pal Big Dipper told me. Nameless Nye snickered mischievously. I believe him. Chapter 1568. Yi Wanwan glanced at Nameless Nye. As expected, a cracked bell could never ring well. What do you think, Sister Famous? Is this piece of news explosive enough? Was your money well spent? Nameless Nye shot out question after question while staring at Yi Wanwan. All right, I got it. Yi Wanwan sighed lightly and walked around Nameless Nye before entering the Nye home. Madam Nye, Nye Ling Long, and Worryless Nye weren't home today. Yi Wanwan headed to Tong Tong's bedroom with great familiarity. Mommy. Tong Tong's eyes brightened as soon as Yi Wanwan appeared. Last night, Yi Wanwan didn't return to the Nye residence because she was meeting up with Lord Azura. Tang, Mommy brought you breakfast. Yi Wanwan opened the container and handed it to him. Thank you, Mommy. Tang accepted the container. Tang continued, Mommy, I'm done with what you asked me to do. He retrieved a small box from the side and placed it next to Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan carefully opened the box. There were several strands of black hair inside. Tang did a great job. Did your mom find out? Yi Wanwan asked softly. No. Tang shook his head. Mommy, what do you want to do with my mom's hair? Yi Wanwan furrowed her brows. She couldn't explain her plan to Tang. If Worryless Nye was really fake, it would be fine. But if she was real and she explained the reason to Tang, wouldn't she be doing something heinous? Tang, Mommy absolutely wouldn't do anything that'd hurt you. Can you trust Mommy about this matter related to the Nye family? Yi Wanwan asked gently while looking at him. Tang nodded without any hesitation. I trust Mommy. After leaving the Nye residence, Yi Wanwan wanted to find a DNA testing center as she held the box carrying Worryless Nye's hair. However, She found it unsuitable upon further contemplation. Who was the Nye family? They were one of the 4 great clans in the independent state. If worryless Nye was really impersonated, the Nye family would definitely discover it. Moreover, there were so many DNA testing centers in the independent state. There was no way the Nye family didn't do a DNA test after finding worryless Nye. If she was a fake, the results would show it. But if the results were positive, then it could mean 2 things. First, this worryless Nye was the genuine one, and there weren't any problems. Second, this worryless Nye was an impersonator, but possessed immense and terrifying power that could make the DNA testing centers in the independent state lie and fake the test results. If she brought Tang Dang and worryless Nye's hairs with her to test them, she would probably alert the enemy and produce the opposite of the desired result. Of course, Yi Wanwan thought worryless Nye might be real, and Yi Shuehan was simply overly suspicious. However, since she made a promise to Yi Shuehan, she would do it. After returning to the Fearless Alliance, Yi Wanwan called 7-Star and Big Dipper to her office. When Big Dipper saw Yi Wanwan sitting in her chair without uttering a word, he felt a bit guilty, perhaps due to his slightly loose lips. Sis Feng. Last night, Big Dipper wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Yi Wanwan. Is there anyone who knows about DNA testing in the Fearless Alliance? Yi Wanwan looked up at them. Chapter 1569. Yes. Big Dipper hastily said. Sis Feng, I do. What are you trying to identify? Antiques, or jades, or jewels? I have some knowledge in this area. 7-Star didn't refute it on this rare occasion. Not only did Big Dipper have some knowledge in this area, but he also spoke a dozen or so languages fluently. Back when the Fearless Alliance was negotiating with factions from other countries, Big Dipper was required to act as the translator for most of them. Then what about paternity testing? Yi Wanwan asked. Yes, I personally test it. Sis Feng, take it out and I can look at it for you. There are too many counterfeits these days. Big Dipper surveyed her. I'm talking about paternity testing, like how you aren't your father's son. That kind of identification. Yi Wanwan sighed. Big Dipper froze in his spot and stared at her in disbelief. I'm not my dad's son? Why? Whose son am I if I'm not my dad's son? Could it be that my mom's hiding something from me? Yi Wanwan involuntarily shivered, looking at Big Dipper. Was this guy pretending to be dumb, or seriously dumb? Who in the world does Big Dipper resemble? If you said he resembled Nameless Nye, that'd be an insult to Nameless Nye. Nameless Nye's shrewdness was apparent from his methods of earning money. He was the type that proved the idiom, great intelligence may appear to be stupidity. As for Big Dipper, Sis Feng is talking about DNA identification like paternity or maternity testing. 7-Star explained dryly to Big Dipper. Oh, that's what you mean? It scared me to death. I don't know about DNA testing. Big Dipper shook his head. But First Elder knows. Good, then call First Elder here. Yi Wanwan waved her hand and had them leave. A moment later, First Elder in his red suit knocked on the door and entered after obtaining Yi Wanwan's permission. You were looking for me, President? First Elder already got a simple explanation from Big Dipper. Yes. Yi Wanwan nodded. Are you experienced in paternity testing, First Elder? First Elder was a bit confused. Why did the President suddenly mention paternity testing? I know a little. I'm not well-versed, but I understand it, First Elder replied. All right, understanding is enough. What equipment do you need? Yi Wanwan turned joyful. There was finally someone reliable. An elder of the Fearless Alliance was indeed an elder of the Fearless Alliance. A bowl is enough. It's just the blood drop method. It's simple, First Elder answered. Yi Wanwan's smile froze on her face. Never mind. You can leave, Yi Wanwan said. What freaking century was this? Blood drop testing? Didn't he have any scientific knowledge? Was he still living in ancient times? No need to be angry, President. I was just joking and lightening the mood. I do need a few advanced machines, but we can get the machines in half a day with the Fearless Alliance's methods and obtain the results in 2 days at most. First Elder chuckled. Did you have fun being mischievous? All right. You can't allow anyone to learn of this matter, First Elder. Make the preparations. The faster, the better, Yuan instructed. President, if I may ask, are you suspecting if your father or mother isn't your biological parent? First Elder was brimming with curiosity. Although First Elder's words were true, it wasn't connected to this matter. Don't ask unnecessary questions, Yuan said. Chapter 1570 understood. This subordinate will do it now. It'll be very fast. First Elder nodded and quickly left the office. Yuan sat and lightly knocked on the desk with both hands. Yi Shouting and Yi Mufan were still kept in custody, so she had to be as fast as possible in the next 3 months or so. First Elder was truly efficient in his work. Several essential machines were secretly transported to the Fearless Alliance in half a day, and he took the samples of Worryless Nia and Tangdang from Yuan. Yuan merely needed to quietly wait a little while before she would get the results. At the same time, outside the Fearless Alliance headquarters, Worryless Niep sat in the car and icily smiled as she looked at the building. Little bitch, your everything belongs to me, including your life. I'd like to see how miserably you'll die in the Fearless Alliance. Soon, the car door was opened, and the red-gowned socialite from the Shun banquet yesterday said to Worryless Nia, Worryless, just watch. That little bitch will definitely die. Not only does that little bitch want to steal your Tangdang from you, but she also dared to impersonate the president of the Fearless Alliance. How dare a disgusting rotten worm like her delusionally wish to transform into a phoenix and soar to the heavens? Worryless Niep chuckled softly. I'll watch your performance then. All right, Worryless. Does Ling Long know? Should we tell Ling Long first? The red-gowned socialite asked. Worryless Niep snorted. You think Ling Long would look at someone like her? Yes. You're right. I'm feel comforted then. The red-gowned socialite nodded and sashayed toward the Fearless Alliance. Several members of the Fearless Alliance watched as the red-gowned socialite entered the Fearless Alliance's lobby, and one of them asked impatiently, What are you doing? Tell your elders to come out, the red-gowned socialite demanded aloofly. What? The Fearless Alliance member was startled. Do you think you can see our elders just 'cause you wanna? Do you know where you are? Let me tell you, I have some major classified information. Immediately tell your elders to come out and see me, or else you won't be able to shoulder the blame, the red-gowned socialite said coldly. Before the Fearless Alliance member could respond, Third Elder Li Si walked into the lobby with a frown. What are you shouting about? Third Elder, this woman, says she has major classified information, the Fearless Alliance member reverently said as he immediately received Li Si. Li Si examined the red-gowned socialite. What major classified information? Elder, I'm telling you, your president of the Fearless Alliance is a fake. She's an impersonator. The red-gowned woman walked toward Li Si and swiftly said, She's actually a Chinese woman, and her name is Yi something Wan, not by phone. She's an impersonator pretending to be your esteemed president. Oh, Third Elder sneered. Are you telling the truth? Of course. The red-gowned socialite nodded frantically. I wouldn't have the nerve to joke about a significant matter like this. I can ascertain it's the absolute truth that your president of the Fearless Alliance is an impersonator. However, as soon as the red-gowned socialite finished speaking, a chilly glint flashed through Third Elder's eyes, and he lifted his right arm. Before she could react, a ruthless slap landed on her face. Slap! A crisp sound rang. The red-gowned socialite was stunned to her spot, and she stared at Third Elder Li Si in disbelief. Chapter 1571, Missy. I think you ate a bear's hearts and leopard's gall, or else, where would you get the guts to slander the Fearless Alliance's president? Li Si coldly looked at the red-gowned socialite. He might have believed it if this was in the past, but ever since the president whipped the ass of Ironhead Gang's boss last time, who would dare to doubt the president's identity? I'm telling you the truth. You must have been deluded by that woman. You mustn't trust her. The red-gowned socialite insisted urgently. Hey, Missy, are you saying we can't even recognize our own president? Third Elder's lips turned up with a cold smile. Before she could respond, Third elder impatiently waved her hand. Seize her and toss her into the dungeon. I'll report it to the president when she's free, and the president can decide whether to bury her alive or burn her to death. Several members of the Fearless Alliance rushed forward and picked up the red-gowned socialite like they were grabbing a chick. A member couldn't help but shake his head. This woman was seriously suicidal. These past few days, the president had been closer to First Elder, and Third Elder had felt gloomy and wanted to find an outlet to vent. You dare? I'm under Nye Ling Long. You dare touch me? The red-gowned socialite was incensed. Who cares if you're under Nye Ling Long? Even if you're under the Emperor of Heaven, you'd need to die for slandering President Fearless. Third Elder glanced at her before commanding the members to throw her into the dungeon. After watching the red-gowned socialite slapped by an elder and captured, worryless Nye's smile disappeared instantly. What happened? This didn't match her expectations at all. How did things degenerate to this extent? After worryless Nye thought about it for a moment, a cold glint flashed through her eyes, and she drove away. Yuanwan didn't know about this small incident. 2 days later, the results from the DNA test came out, and First Elder entered the office with a report in hand. Upon seeing this, Yuanwan quickly made Big Dipper and 7-Star leave before telling First Elder to have a seat. What's the result, First Elder? Yuanwan asked. She didn't have any expectation since there was a very minute possibility that worryless Nye was an impersonator, but she needed to inform Ishuehan about the result regardless. President, the test results arrived. First Elder gently placed the report on Yi Wanwan's desk. Yi Wanwan skimmed the test report, but couldn't understand it. Tell me the result directly, First Elder, she ordered. All right. First Elder nodded. President, the DNA doesn't match. Yi Wanwan's pupils contracted upon hearing that. The DNA didn't match, meaning, yes, that means person A and B don't have any blood relations and are two complete strangers. First Elder drank a sip of tea and calmly explained to Yi Wanwan. A raging storm tore through Yi Wanwan's mind. This meant that worryless Nye was truly an impersonator and wasn't Tong Tong's biological mother. Are you certain about the result of this report, First Elder? Could there be any errors? Yi Wanwan frowned. She couldn't be careless about this matter, since it was related to Tong Tong's entire life. President, you're worrying too much. Even if you don't believe in me, you should believe in science. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. The accuracy is 99.9%, so there couldn't have been any errors. First Elder was convinced. Chapter 1572. In his chair, First Elder languidly sipped from his cup of tea before looking at Yi Wanwan and chuckling. Don't worry, President. The test report is 100% accurate and doesn't have any errors for sure. Yi Wanwan didn't doubt what First Elder said. It was just that she didn't expect the current worryless Nye to really be an impersonator. All right, I understand. Don't mention this matter to anyone, Yi Wanwan instructed First Elder. First Elder stood up and nodded. No worries, President. I understand the things I should and shouldn't say. After saying that, he turned around and left the office. Yi Wanwan's brows locked together as she stared at the report in her hand. She didn't expect a task from Ishuehan to elicit a torrential storm. Yi Wanwan soon left the Fearless Alliance and drove to Ishuehan's house. Ishuehan, Yi Wanwan called out as she knocked on the door. A moment later, the door was opened. Ishuehan was wearing pajamas and sleepily looking at Yi Wanwan. Knight Errant E, I have results from the matter you had me investigate last time, she quickly said. And come inside first. Ishuehan turned to head back inside the house. Close the door after you enter. After entering the living room, Ishuehan sat on the sofa and turned on the TV. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched when she saw the TV screen. It was a cartoon. What are the results? Ishuehan asked without looking away from the TV. Not good. Not Errant. The second miss at the Nye family right now isn't the real one. She's a fake, Yi Wanwan swiftly replied. Okay, Ishuehan nodded indifferently. We'll talk later. Let me finish watching this part first. Can't you act more concerned? Is the cartoon that fun to watch? Although Yi Wanwan thought that, she didn't dare to voice anything and could only wait for Ishuehan to finish watching his cartoon. In this fashion, half an hour passed. Ishuehan looked a bit disappointed as he pressed the remote and turned off the TV. What are the results? What did you say? Ishuehan turned to Yi Wanwan and asked. Damn you. Knight Aaron E, the situation is bad. Second Miss Nia, Tong Tong's mother, is an impersonator. She's a fake, Yi Wanwan was forced to repeat. How do you know? Ishuehan questioned. Yi Wanwan looked bewildered. Didn't you tell me to look into it? Oh, I was just casually mentioning it back then. Do you have proof? Ishuehan was expressionless. Yes. Yi Wanwan walked forward and handed the test result to him. He accepted the report and inspected it for a moment before saying, I can't understand it. Tell me. This is Tang Tang and Worryless Nia's maternity test result. Their DNA doesn't match, and they don't have any blood relations. Yi Wanwan explained. That's strange then. All the testing centers in the independent state produced identical test results, but it changed when you did it. Ishuehan was pensive. I have a friend who owns a small lab, the private kind. I had him test it. The results are 100% accurate. Knight Errant E, Yi Wanwan said. And? Understood. Thanks for the trouble. He nodded at her. Chapter 1573 Yi Wanwan smiled. Everything would be resolved easily with Ishuehan's input. However, she stood next to the sofa and waited for half a day, but there was no continuation. Knight Errant E, what's the next step? Yi Wanwan asked voluntarily, as she couldn't bear it anymore. Next step? Ishuehan looked baffled. The next step depends on you? What? Yi Wanwan was stunned. Ishuehan wasn't going to do anything? Knight Errant E, it was you who made me investigate. Now that we discovered something, you aren't going to do anything? It was you who planted the tree, so now you have to pick the fruits yourself. Aside from matters concerning the ancient clans, I won't interfere in any conflicts between any of the factions in the independent state, let alone family problems. Think of a solution yourself. Ishuehan yawned. Could you be any more freaking deceptive? Yi Wanwan swore that if it weren't for the fact that she couldn't beat him, she would definitely club his head. He asked her to do the work, but did nothing himself. How is he fitting to be Tong Tong's master? I'm tired. Want to take a nap together? Ishuehan lay back on the sofa and covered himself with a blanket as he asked Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan sighed. Forget it. I'll go and resolve this matter first. Help me close the door when you leave, he instructed upon seeing her leave. Close it your ass. Of course, Knight Errant E. Yi Wanwan was beaming as she gently closed the door. After returning to the Fearless Alliance, Yi Wanwan summoned Big Dipper and 7 Star to her office. Currently, those two were the only people Yi Wanwan trusted inside the Fearless Alliance. After she told them the whole story, they were astonished and stunned. Big Dipper, if you tell other people about this matter, you don't need to come to work tomorrow. Yi Wanwan seriously stared at Big Dipper. Yi Wanwan was a bit uncertain about Big Dipper's loose lips, but she did still trust him about this kind of situation. Sis Feng, how could you say that? I know what's important and not. I wouldn't tell anyone even if my life was threatened. Big Dipper hastily protested. Sis Feng, this is an extremely important matter to the Nye family, but it's unrelated to the Fearless Alliance. However, if you tell the truth to the Nye family, they would definitely be grateful to the Fearless Alliance. It is a feasible option, 7 Star said after a moment of thought. Bullshit. Big Dipper frowned. This matter definitely isn't as simple as it appears, Sis Feng. The Nye family is one of the 4 great clans in the independent state. If there wasn't someone powerful behind the impersonator, how could she have deceived the Nye family? Additionally, many of the test centers in the independent state gave the result that the impersonator is indeed the second miss of the Nye family, which shows how terrifying the power behind her is. You brought your brain to work today? Yi Wanwan looked at Big Dipper, surprised that he even managed to make that conclusion. Sister Worryless, listen to me first. Our Fearless Alliance doesn't have an amicable relationship with the Nye family to begin with. And you tricked the Nye family quite a lot in the past, so why would they believe the Fearless Alliance is president? Instead, they probably think the Fearless Alliance is sowing dissension and stirring trouble. Also, we definitely alert the enemies and cause the fake worryless Nya to become cautious. If that happens, it'd be harder to expose her than ascending to the heavens, Big Dipper analyzed. Yuanwan nodded, amazed at Big Dipper's performance today. She felt like her son finally grew up. Sis phone, Big Dipper's right. I didn't think it over thoroughly enough before, 7-star said. Chapter 1574, Then how do you think we can expose the impersonator? Yuanwan asked. Sis phone, the Nye parents love the current worryless Nye very dearly. We'd only enrage the Nye family if we told them rashly, and they might even act antagonistically toward the Fearless Alliance, so that's not feasible. Also, you know worryless Nye is an impersonator, but she isn't aware and on guard yet, so we have many opportunities and don't need to act impatiently, Big Dipper said. Yuanwan didn't refute him. Her identity was a bit awkward indeed. If she used her identity as the president of the Fearless Alliance, she would probably be kicked out of the Nye residence. If she used her identity as Yuanwan, her relationship with Tang Tang was somewhat special, and Madame Nye might think she had an ulterior motive for wanting to monopolize Tang Tang and kick away worryless Nye if she told Madame Nye rashly. This consequence would be more severe. Yuanwan originally wanted to inform nameless Nye first, but erased that thought upon further contemplation. She was confident nameless Nye would definitely believe her with their relationship, but he would also definitely cause a ruckus at home with his personality. At that time, if the Nye family learned she was the instigator, not only would it be useless, but it'd also produce the opposite of the desired result. Nameless Nye's personality was too explosive, and there were too many uncertain factors. It would be difficult even if she ordered him to expose the fake worryless Nye according to her excuse. President, third elder pushed open the door and entered the room. There was a woman yesterday who came to the Fearless Alliance and claimed you were an impersonator. She also said she was connected to the Nye family, but I've imprisoned her in the dungeon. Should we kill her? Oh. Yuanwan was pensive when she heard that. The only people who knew her identity from the Shun family's banquet were Nye Linglong and the fake worryless Nye, which meant this incident had to be related to those two. They wanted her to die. Unfortunately, the current Fearless Alliance was completely under her control. Yuanwan seriously suspected she might really be the president of the Fearless Alliance by phone. Otherwise, why would the Fearless Alliance believe in her so much? Of course, she still needed to go to Scarlet Flame's Academy and have its headmaster help her and see if she could recover her memory. Just keep her guarded in the dungeon for now. No need to kill her yet, Yuanwan said after thinking about it. The woman who came to expose her identity was either instructed by Nye Linglong or the fake worryless Nye. All right, Li Si nodded. I need to go out and take care of something. Call me if anything comes up. Yuanwan stood up and left the Fearless Alliance. Sometime in the afternoon, Yuanwan arrived at the Nye residence. In the living room, Madame Nye had a dark expression on her face as she said, Yuanwan is actually the president of the Fearless Alliance. She actually deceived me. Mom, I already told you. How could someone like her have any good intentions for coming to the Nye residence? Thank goodness we discovered in time, or else something big would have definitely happened. Worryless Nye sighed and said, Sister Worryless, let it go. Maybe Yuanwan didn't have any bad intentions, and merely wanted to see Tang Tang, Nye Linglong said. Linglong, you're still young. People like her are demons. Don't you know President Fearless' reputation in the independent state? Worryless Nye retorted with a frown. Nye Linglong sighed and didn't say anything else. At this time, Yuanwan had arrived outside the living room and saw Madame Nye's dark expression from a distance. Yuanwan didn't even need to think to know that those two informed Madame Nye about her identity as President Fearless. Chapter 1575, The Fearless Alliance provoked the Nye family many years ago, so the Nye family immensely disliked the Fearless Alliance, especially her, the president. Yuanwan's lips turned up. Since they wanted to play, she would stay till the end. The fake worryless Nye was absolutely connected with Nye Linglong. Yi Wanwan heard that it was Nie Ling Long who first discovered news of the impersonator and revealed the information to the Nie family. Yi Wanwan entered the room. As soon as she appeared, the three women in the living room turned to Yi Wanwan. Worryless Niep smiled. Madame Nie now knew this woman was President Fearless. It must be wonderful to be kicked out of the Nie family by her own mother. Madame Nie was about to speak with a dark expression when Yi Wanwan suddenly walked toward Madame Nie and pitifully said, "Annie, sorry. The exact reason I came here today was to tell Annie Nie that I have another identity aside from Yi Wanwan." Worryless Nie furrowed her brows. What did this woman want to do? What identity? Madame Nie stared at Yi Wanwan. President Fearless, Yi Wanwan sighed. Madame Nie was obviously taken aback by her answer. "Annie, you should know that I once disappeared for a period of time. I got tired of the violent life, so I left the independent state and went to China. It's just that something happened at the Fearless Alliance recently, so I came back. In the independent state, it was Tang Tang who provided me with the warmth of a family, something that I never experienced before. It was especially so after I met you, Annie, and you treated me so nicely. Back then, I was young and ignorant and offended the Nie family, so I didn't dare to tell you, Annie, in fear of you disliking me. When you wanted to adopt me as a foster daughter last time, it was also because of this reason that I didn't dare to tell you the truth. I was afraid you'd hate me later. Yi Wanwan acted like a little girl who did something wrong and was afraid her mother would punish her." Madame Nie's dark expression eased quite a bit after hearing Yi Wanwan's explanation. Worryless Nie stared intently at Yi Wanwan. This woman seriously knows how to act. "You're saying you lied to me because you were afraid I'd blame you?" Madame Nie asked as she looked at Yi Wanwan. "Yes, that's why. Annie, if you don't believe me, you can ask Brother Nameless. He knows my identity since I never wanted to purposefully deceive you." "Annie," Yi Wanwan said. "Call your brother here," Madame Nie told Worryless Nie. Before Worryless Nie could reply, Nameless Nie just happened to pass by the living room and interjected, "Mom, why are you looking for your darling son? Did you want to give me pocket money? I have a question for you. Did you know she's President Fearless?" Madame Nie asked. "Huh? President Fearless?" Nameless Nie was startled and looked at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan blinked at him meaningfully. "I knew. Of course I knew." Nameless Nie nodded frantically. "If you knew, why didn't you tell me?" Madame Nie's brows knitted together. "I was afraid you'd be unhappy, Mom," Nameless Nie answered honestly. "All right, you can leave." Madame Nie flicked her hand. "Okay." Nameless Nie arrived bewildered and departed bewildered. "Sorry that I lied to you, Annie. I'll leave now and won't appear in front of you again." Yi Wanwan slowly stood up. "Wait." Madame Nie stopped her. Chapter 1576. Yi Wanwan turned her head and pitifully looked at Madame Nie. Worryless Nie's expression darkened. This woman seriously knew how to put on an act in front of Madame Nie. What Worryless Nie found hardest to accept was that Madame Nie appeared to be wavering already. Did she really believe this woman's bullshit? Madame Nie's tone softened a little and sounded like an older relative talking to a younger relative. "If you are, you are. If you aren't, you aren't. Your Annie isn't some narrow-minded and petty woman. You were merely in your teens when you provoked the Nie family back then. Your Annie acted wilder than you when I was your age. What's there to hide?" "Annie Nie, I'm sorry." Yi Wanwan sighed softly. "Are you really sorry?" Madame Nie asked with a slight frown. This girl's pitiful look made her heart ache for some reason, and a lot of her previous anger was pacified. Bro Flat Top, the president of the Fearless Alliance, a devil-like woman who had a notorious reputation in the independent state, was acting like a little girl who did something wrong in front of her. By phone, the Fearless Alliance and the Nie family did have some animosities in the past, but thinking about it now, it's been many years now. "We'll let bygones be bygones," Madame Nie said a moment later. Happiness flooded onto Yi Wanwan's face, and she immediately asked, "Then are you still angry, Annie Nie?" After a moment of contemplation, Madame Nie said, "I'll forgive you this time." Nie Linglong icily looked at Yi Wanwan, but didn't say anything. Mom. Worryless Nye walked forward and stopped next to Madame Nye. Mom, do you seriously believe this woman? She intentionally concealed her identity and approached the Nye family. She must have some secret she's hiding. Madame Nye looked at Worryless Nye and said, Worryless, by phone, didn't truly conceal her identity. Your brother knew her identity. Worryless Nye ground her teeth in anger. Madame Nye was still furious earlier, but now spoke on this woman's behalf after listening to her nonsense. A frightening, cold glint sparkled in Worryless Nye's eyes. Did this woman think she was fine now? She would definitely make Madame Nye personally kick this woman out. By phone, Madame Nye called. Annie Nye, keep calling me Wan Wan. I'm more accustomed to that. Wan Wan said with a smile. All right. Wan, did you consider what I mentioned last time about adopting you as my foster daughter? Madame Nye asked. Wan Wan was surprised. She didn't expect Madame Nye to want to adopt her as a foster daughter as soon as she pacified her anger. It wasn't difficult for Wan Wan to tell that Madame Nye truly liked her. Mom, how could you be so rash? She's President Fearless. Back then, the Fearless Alliance wasn't friendly toward the Nye family. She's President Fearless, so she must have ulterior motives for approaching the Nye family. Worryless Nye hastily said upon hearing Madame Nye's words. Worryless, Madame Nye looked at her daughter and asked with a frown, What's going on with you? I know what I'm doing. Chapter 1577. Worryless Nye clenched her fists and kept her emotions in check, trying to calm herself. Mom, I'm just worried. Annie, let's forget it then. Don't harm your relationship with Worryless, just because of me. I'm just an outsider. After all, Wan Wan sounded as though she had suffered an indescribable grievance. Wan Wan imperceptibly glanced at Worryless Nye. Does this impersonator really consider herself as the Miss Worryless of the Nye family and Tong Tong's biological mother? I, the professional impersonator, can outplay her any day. Since you want play, it's only fun if you keep going. Otherwise, what's the point? Madame Nye appeared a little exasperated. Look at Wan Wan compared to her own daughter. Worryless Nye. Worryless Nye's maternal grandfather took her with him from the Nye family when she was young. So Madame Nye didn't see Worryless many times, but her memories of Worryless' direct and frank personality was as clear as day. However, after she grew up, her personality gradually changed, and she became increasingly immature and inconsiderate. Madame Nye owed her daughter too much, though, so she couldn't bear to lecture her daughter about it. Idiot! Nye Linglong sneered inwardly with an aloof glance at Worryless Nye. You're being led by your nose, but you still don't realize. Mom, I was wrong earlier, but I'm just worried since she's President Fearless. I don't want other people to successfully scheme against the Nye family. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but don't be angry at me, Mom. Worryless Nye discovered something amiss and immediately switched direction. And it's fine. Spend more time with Wan Wan in the future. It was Wan Wan who helped you look after Tainang for a period of time in China, and you need to know how to be grateful as a person, Madame Nye said. Yes, Mom, you're right. I understand. Worryless Nye nodded, then coldly glanced at Wan Wan. Wan Wan, it's final then. I'll have someone prepare the ceremony, Madame Nye said to Wan Wan with a smile. Annie Nye, I'm the president of the Fearless Alliance. If you adopt me as your foster daughter, I'm afraid Wan Wan's face was brimming with worry. Madame Nye merely shook her head. You're the right and proper president of the Fearless Alliance. What would I lose to adopt you as my foster daughter? Moreover, you're using your identity as Wan Wan to acknowledge me as your foster mother, so it's unrelated to by phone. All right. Thank you, Annie. Wan Wan nodded in the end. For some reason, Wan Wan didn't want to reject Madame Nye at all and instinctively wanted to be close to her. Soon, the Nye estate steward finished preparing tea and handed a cup to Wan Wan. Madame Nye sat in the upper chief seat while Nameless Nye, Nye Linglong, and Worryless Nye stood on the side. Wan Wan walked toward Madame Nye with a cup of tea in hand. Then she knelt in front of Madame Nye and used both hands to hold up the tea. Annie Nye, please drink some tea. Why are you still calling me Annie's? Madame Nye sounded displeased. Miss Wanwan, the mother recognition ceremony is done, so you should refer to Madam as mother, the Nye estate steward said to Yi Wanwan with a light chuckle. Mom, Yi Wanwan called softly. Great. Madam Nye accepted the cup of tea and drank it in one go. Then she took out a big red envelope and handed it to Yi Wanwan. Nameless Nye's eyes brightened upon seeing the red envelope. Wanwan, you're a child of the Nye family from now on. The Nye family doesn't have many rules, but you must remember one thing, Madam Nye said with a solemn expression. Chapter 1578, What is it, Mom? I'll definitely follow it carefully. Yi Wanwan nodded. You mustn't give a single cent to Nameless Nye, Madam Nye said. Yi Wanwan, Nameless Nye, your eldest brother once swore that he wouldn't use a single cent from the Nye family ever again. If he does, the whole family will die, and the Nye family has always regarded oaths with utmost importance. Do you understand? Madam Nye explained. Yes, I understand. Yi Wanwan nodded. This rule seriously suited her liking too much. Mom, how about I renounce my parent-child relationship with you and Dad? Then we won't be a family anymore. What do you think of my idea, Mom? Nameless Nye asked hastily. Scram! Madam Nye became incensed instantly. I was just joking. Why do you take it seriously? Nameless Nye chuckled awkwardly and swiftly zipped his mouth. Heh, Wanwan, we're family from now on, Worryless Nye said to Yi Wanwan with a light chuckle as she suddenly walked forward. Yes, Worryless, we're family from now on. If I offended you in any way before, please forgive me. Yi Wanwan returned with a chuckle of her own. Since she accepted Madam Nye as her foster mother now, she could be considered half a child of the Nye family and didn't lack opportunities to inform the Nye family of the truth. However, this woman wasn't dumb and knew when to advance and retreat. After leaving the living room, Nameless Nye quickly chased after Yi Wanwan. He intently stared at her as he asked, My good sister, how much money is in the red envelope my mom gave you? Yi Wanwan started and glanced at him. What do you want? My good sister, I'm your older brother now, and we're family. You should share some with me. Nameless Nye beamed with an ingratiating smile. No, Mom said I'm a member of the Nye family now and can't give a single cent to you. Yi Wanwan briskly declined. What are you saying? Isn't your surname Yi still? Your surname isn't Nye, so even if my whole family dies, yours won't. You wouldn't lose anything, Nameless Nye retorted with a smile. Yi Wanwan thought over it for a minute before looking at Nameless Nye and saying, I would lose money. After getting rid of Nameless Nye, Yi Wanwan went to the guest bedroom. At Worryless Nye's adamant insistence tonight, Yi Wanwan was given a room of her own and didn't stay with Tang Tang. Tang Tang originally dissented, but Yi Wanwan told him to agree. If Tang Tang really made a fuss about it, the impersonator would act pitiful and cry about being innocent, which would then cause Madam Nye to think it was her fault for sowing dissent between Tang Tang and the impersonator's relationship. The impersonator's silent retaliation had begun, but Yi Wanwan didn't care. They had ample time, and what she said earlier still held true. If the impersonator wanted to play, then she'd play with her. She just hoped the impersonator wouldn't cower. In the wee hours of the morning, maybe due to switching to a new bed, Yi Wanwan found herself suffering from insomnia. Yi Wanwan grew increasingly curious about her own identity. Just who am I? She possessed a vague familiarity about many of the places in the independent state, as though she had been there before. Can I really be a resident of the independent state? Right now, Lord Azura still wouldn't admit he was Siyin, and Yi Wanwan couldn't do anything about it or obtain the truth from him. The days since her arrival in the independent state were like a dream. What was more unfathomable was what she did after getting drunk last time that caused the entire Fearless Alliance to lose all suspicion and stop doubting her identity as Bro Flat Top. It was truly food for thought. If she wasn't President Fearless, there was no way the Fearless Alliance would submit to her with their personality and style. Chapter 1579. 1579, What kind of extremely cruel person was third elderly C? He was someone who could kill his own son, but now held her in high esteem. He didn't look disloyal to her on the surface and acknowledged her wholeheartedly based on her observations. Both First Elder and Second Elder also treated her with respect and would even joke with her occasionally. All of this struck Yi Wanwan with disbelief. Just who am I? Could I really have been President Fearless, Bro Flat Top, before I lost my memory? A moment later, Yi Wanwan called Big Dipper. Sis Foam, why are you calling me so late? Do you need something? Big Dipper answered instantly. Where are you? Yi Wanwan asked. I'm at the hospital to visit my mom, Big Dipper replied. At the hospital visiting your mom? Yi Wanwan was startled. Yeah, didn't I say earlier? My mom was hit by a car and is at the hospital, Big Dipper said. Yi Wanwan face-bombed. So Big Dipper's mother really was hit by a car? She always thought Big Dipper's words were full of smoke and didn't contain a lick of truth. Now it looked like she misjudged him. However, it really wasn't her fault. Everything Big Dipper said didn't sound like the truth. Big Dipper, I'm writing an autobiography right now, but there are some details I can't remember clearly. I wanted to ask you whether you remember how many years it's been since I left the independent state? Yi Wanwan asked. For years, Big Dipper replied frankly. Sis Phone, you're writing an autobiography? Put me in there. For years, Yi Wanwan murmured. Then she immediately hung up the phone without giving Big Dipper a chance to continue prattling on. Yi Wanwan vaguely remembered that it was also 4 years ago that the second miss of the Nye family, Worryless Nye, disappeared. Did that mean Worryless Nye and Bro Flat Top disappeared at the same time? Could it be? Worryless Nye was Bro Flat Top. Yi Wanwan's expression shifted. If I'm Bro Flat Top, then I... However, as soon as that thought surfaced, it was squashed instantly. It was utterly unrealistic. If Worryless Nye really was Bro Flat Top, how could Madame Nye, Nameless Nye, and the rest of Nye family not know about it? Furthermore, Bro Flat Top wreaked havoc for the Nye family back then too. There were simply too many coincidences. Yi Wanwan felt like her mind wasn't enough to process everything. She couldn't make an accurate judgment on whether she was Bro Flat Top or not. I hope the headmaster of Scarlet Flames Academy can help me recover my memory, Yi Wanwan murmured with a soft sigh. Everything was a futile effort right now. The truth would only be revealed if she recovered her memory. And her only hope to regain her memory was Scarlet Flames Academy. Aside from that, Yi Wanwan decided she should make a trip to China soon. It wasn't advantageous to drag out Yi Shouting and Yi Mufan situation for too long. Moreover, she now had control over the Fearless Alliance. If she could bring some people from the Fearless Alliance back to China, the mutiny in the Sea family could be easily resolved. As for Yi and her cohorts, they should clean their necks and wait for her. Yi Wanwan came to a decision. After heading to Scarlet Flames Academy and enrolling as a new student, she could return to China. The night passed without a sound. Next morning, in her sleepy state, Yi Wanwan vaguely heard her phone ring and reflexively answered the call. Morning. A gentle voice was emitted from the phone. Ji Shiran. Yi Wanwan shot up immediately, all trace of drowsiness dispersing. Xiao Feng, you should go to Scarlet Flames Academy and report there, Ji Shiran said softly. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.